from the
Same places, trap music, this that first react music. They can't hold me back, I'm feeling good cause I'm black music. Can't nobody touch.
Happy Sunday, and welcome back to another episode of Cigar Sundays Live, where we define, examine, and analyze words, saying, and phrases used in American culture. And tonight, we will be smoking on common sense. So grab your thinking caps and get ready to smoke on words with two big nerds, myself, Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, and the God, Ali Dawood L and BK Soul Farm. Yes, indeed, and we are the Cigarden Panel. Peace, God. How you feeling?
Peace, God. Yeah, I'm feeling good, man. Like I'm feeling super productive. Like springtime is now. And you already know it's Pisces season, you know what I'm saying? Like you already know what last week was, you already know what next week is. Like you already know what's we here. Like I'm looking at my avocado trees, like they blooming like so much new growth, right? My mango joints got so much new. I got some new fig trees. Like I don't know what everybody else be spending their money on, but like I buy a lot of plants. I buy I buy a lot of livestock, right? I buy things that reproduce and continuously to grow, right? And things that I like that I can enjoy constantly and that's shareable, right? Because I gotta recognize that I'm putting my stuff outside, and with all businesses you gotta account for theft, right? But I don't wanna look at things as theft when I'm talking about food that I'm growing in a communal sense, right? It's BK Soul Farm, it's family economics, right? And what I'm trying to do kind of requires me to be outside of myself just a little bit and be more accepting of the people, right? So it's been love, son. Like it's just boom, blossoming. Like, and I don't know. You see my videos with the pepper coming out of my fish tank with my little bass in that
Of
joint.
course, of course. I'm liking everything. I'm liking everything. I'm loving.
Yo,
I'm getting the hearts. It's all hearts.
right, you can grow bass in the fish tank, right? Like with peppers on top and sweet potatoes on top, right? Like you can do a bunch of things, man. Get the book. It's good for me, good for you.
Definitely,
How about you, guy? What you got?
definitely, God. Well, I have been always, each and every day, thankful for another day. Um, and been loving life
Hell yeah.
and enjoying life, enjoying my wife, enjoying, you know, just being able to relax and be thankful for things, and and put things, whatever, what's the new saying? The new saying is enjoying the fact that I'm doing something today that if I'm fortunate enough to get tomorrow, I can enjoy. You
Word.
know, so yeah, so that's what we on, God, as always. And like the guy Ali Dawood at BK Soul Farm said, make sure y'all head on over to www.bksoulfarm.com and pick up your copy of 10-16-160 Self-Sustainability by the God Ali Dawood right there, because it is springtime, and you can get some flowers growing, some fruit, some nutrition, because them prices still going up.
Man.
They talking about the Straits of Hormuz and all that stuff, man. But you know what? There is something you can do. You don't have to be mad at the grocery stores. You can take a page right out of this book right
Literally, God, literally.
here.
I kind of give you like steps, like how you can do it. Like
Now they got to get the book. They got to get the book. Unless we're doing an interview on you on the book, they got to get the book. They got to go get it. It's not like it's crazy if they skip one McDonald's value meal and get the book. It's that
not for
simple.
nothing. Kinda.
You know what I'm saying? It's that simple. All right. Also, subscribe to DB Chef TV, y'all, and win $100. What we doing is, um, our last contest we had, there was a not a lot of participation, not really any participation. So, you know, we said we're gonna run it back
Let's run it
because
back.
even if you don't want it, we still gonna give it to you. You know, but of course it ain't free. You always gotta do something. Nothing in America is free. You gotta do something to get it. So it's something free that you can do. Subscribe to DB Chef TV, and then we just gonna, put some subscribers in the hat, and we gonna pull it out, and we gonna help you out with some gas money or something. You know,
Real talk, real
just for
talk.
showing up and helping out. We're gonna buy you dinner. I don't know. I don't know. When me and my wife go, it's pretty expensive to eat dinner sometimes. So, but $100 can still get you a nice dinner in a nice place, depending on your taste. So that's what we trying to do here at DB Chef TV. Subscribe, y'all, and maybe you will be that lucky person. And the information is all over our social media, IG, Facebook, and Twitter. So we appreciate you. And like we always say, if money's tight, it's all right. You can do something for free, and that's smash the like, and we're gonna love y'all for that. So let's go ahead and get into tonight's questions for common sense. So our first question is our house question. What do you think of when you hear the words common sense? Two, is common sense learned or are we born with it, and why? Three, why do you think people say use your common sense when a mistake is made? Four, have you ever experienced common sense help or harm you, and how? And last but never least, our fifth and final question, is the phrase common sense bad, good, or misunderstood? And you know what you got to do in order to find out what myself or the God Ali Dawood thinks about that. You got to stick around to the end of the show. So that means you get to answer these questions with us. You get to exchange insights with us in the live chat. And depending on when you're watching this, you can also do that in the comments. We're going to respond to each and every single thing, even if it's just a, hey, I like the show. Hey, the show was some trash. Hey, y'all sound stupid. Hey, y'all sound smart. It don't matter. You know, whatever your comment is, we going to comment back. We gonna chop it up with you. So our first question of the evening, what do you think of when you hear the words common sense? The God Ali Dawood El at BK Soul Farm.
Peace, God.
Peace, God.
Um, so the very first thing I think about when I think about common sense is WTF. What the flip is that? Right? What is common sense, right? I think about we live like I'm from Brooklyn, right? And I think about New York City as itself, right? And even just thinking about Brooklyn, period, um, colloquially, we call it the planet of Brooklyn, right? Like that's how serious we are about our city, right? Like our borough, like we call it the planet of Brooklyn, right? So, but and when you think about what all encompasses and makes up uh the planet of Brooklyn, there's so many cultures that come from different places newly and that have been there for so long that make up the fabric of what is Brooklyn. That when you talk about common sense, um, I find that it's difficult in a melting pot, right? And I say that because of my second thought process when it comes to common sense. I think is a lost tribal connection, right? A form of communication that that was developed and learned in tribes because I feel like for something to be common, we have to be common, right? And the only way for for us to be common universally, like meaning like on a regular basis, is when we were in tribes, or at least in my mind, right? Because in a tribe, in order for that tribe to be successful, everybody got to be on the same type time. So it's common sense to do this, and common sense to do that. It's common sense when you come across this scenario to respond this way, because that's how you and your people would do it. And to take that tribal person and put them into a melting pot and say go, with no um formulation or no uh merging or mixing and merging of cultures, or acknowledging that we need to you know, and come to a common ground. I find that's why I get to the first part, like what the F, right? Because I don't know what that is, because it's hard for me to conceive with so many people with so many different thought processes, right? So I really don't know what the hell it is for real. I think
God,
it can only
let me ask you something on that right there real quick though. When you say that part right there, do you think that's maybe like take the training wheels off, and if you fall, like I won't know if you're gonna fall until you check. Like you was talking
which
about
part?
the melting pot. You was like, okay, people get inserted into this melting pot, and they don't have, because it was intriguing, and they don't have all of the tools necessary, right, to be able to communicate with each other. They don't have all of the knowledge that's necessary to know, you know, what is common. So is that similar to like taking the training wheels off? You know, it's like you're gonna have to learn to fall.
You have to learn to fall.
you know, you know, it's like you're gonna, you know, you're gonna have to learn to scrape your knee up
Right?
and know what that feels like, right?
And and balance is natural, right? Because you will learn your balance. You will learn to balance, right? Because we are human, and we are natural beings in nature. We're part of nature, and balancing is we can walk, right? We learn how to balance, right? So we will learn how to do that. However, um, some of us might not be able to steer straight, right? Some of us, might be wobbly with it, when we do it, right? Like however we stay up is how we stay up. However we move forward is how we move forward. And in my movement, I might rub you the wrong way. I didn't fall, so I'm gonna get to my destination. I'm gonna achieve my outcome and my goal. However, in my pursuit of my happiness, I might disrupt and disturb yours, right? And under the guise of you should understand because I'm on my way to do my thing, common sense, like duh, right? As I should understand that you should get out of my way because you should see me on my way to do my thing.
I don't know if that's common sense or not, though. Oh no, that might be some bully shit. That might be some bully type behavior right there. That might be a lack of consideration going on.
Hell yeah, the like consideration.
You know, that's a lack of compassion. That's a lack of, you know.
All right, but you feel me though? Like
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
like, so definitely take the training wheels off and learn to fall. Um, because when when just thinking about immigrants coming to America legally, um, they come into, like, nobody comes into America. Like nobody flies into, like, America doesn't have an airport that anybody flies into. Everybody flies into a state, into a city, right? And there is no, okay, this is how we get down, this is how we communicate, this is how we rock, this is how you not offend the people in this city, because this is where you're gonna reside for the meantime. or however that goes, right? Like there's no cultural appropriation, effective cultural appropriation, right? It's more so this is what you need to do to survive in America, anywhere in America. So anywhere you see African Americans or Black people, look down on them, fear them. You're better than they are, kind of thing. Like there's that false narrative of whatever they learned on TV about Americans, right? That's what they get. Like that's their education is the TV programs, is the movies and the videos and the all that stuff that they promote over there. And then when they get here, there's no correction, right? In fact, there's a double down in of see nigga shit. Look at them, they fighting. Look at that. We're not even overseas no more. Now we're here and looking at on my TikTok here in my neighborhood, on my Instagram here, on my whatever social media you got. Like this is what they're doing here locally. You're watching the local news or the national news or whatever, and you're seeing, the stories that they choose to promote and put on full display without context, um, for real at all. So it kind of promotes a narrative, right? You see brothers walking around with grills. You see them walking around with their pit bulls and their Timberlands and they ball caps and they fit. You know what I'm saying? Like you see this and it's like, oh, see, everything on TV was true. And your common sense is developed and derived from a misunderstanding or a falsity that was given to you to make you a good American when you get here, right? And that's to not be on no tribalism except for yours. Remember your focus, but don't ever get on home team over here to make this situation over here better for everybody. Because that would be common
when
sense.
dealing with the immigrant situation. But
Or even people moving
I think
from north
I,
to south, or
I still think that I still think that yes, it's perpetuated. But it's just like that. Remember when I was telling you that conversation? I said, I got this show I'm developing, soul food history,
Mhm.
and I want to show and this is to your point, to what you was just talking about, and I want to highlight the positivity of African American peoples in America, all right,
Yeah.
of Black people in America. I want to highlight that. But it seems like when you go and research and look for that stuff versus all of the crime that we commit, you get way more of that's on the news, that you can find, like that's just like so readily available. Like if you want the negative, it's just like,
Here you go. Pick a
you know.
tab.
So we understand how we got there, right? But at some point in time, we look at like there's a continued perpetuation. Now we could say the news don't have to cover that because it's a whole bunch more positive stories, but you and I know that people thirst drama, people thirst negativity, they thrive on that. Okay, you start talking to somebody about peace, they looking at you crazy, they looking at you like you soft or you weak, right? Because you want peace, because you want, because you want,
Instead of the man that's gonna burn down everything if you
right,
don't get peace.
right, like they want you to be and we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later on too. Um, but they want you to exemplify um what they've seen on television, what those
Correct.
images are that you just was explaining about.
Yeah.
They would rather you do that than for you to present yourself educated, present yourself logical, rational, um, and then even if you offer that, then now, but now even if you take that route, now then they use it to play victim because this is how we seen your type act on TV,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
So we're gonna even get those who are scared of you naturally. We're gonna try to use those who are scared of you naturally, even here. All right, to believe our narrative that you scared us, not knowing you the antagonist,
The whole time.
right? The Karen activity, right? Okay, so there is an accountability on some of this stuff that that I'm saying is could be common sense, could not be common sense. That's lacking. It's a part of accountability that's lacking, because if I'm interacting with you and I'm being respectful,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and then you open up the door to disrespect, all right, now I have a choice. I could oblige you in disrespect, or I could say, you know what, or three things can happen. I can stoop to your level and oblige you in the disrespect. I can punch you in your face or shoot you, right? I can take it up a notch that it don't need to be taken there. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Or I can just choose to walk away, right? What the accountability is that we have to realize, and I think that this ain't common sense. It's not until you have that interaction with the person. Is that the minute that I obliged you in your argument, in your antics, the minute that I stooped to the same level, you thought now that that's a relationship that we can have.
Hmm.
Now you
Instead of forcing me to change and recognize that I need to communicate better.
right. Now you thought that because I accepted your poor communication,
Yeah.
that now that's the relationship that we will have moving forward. But see, I'm the type of person that'll tell you, if this the way you want to do it, you're not gonna be able to do it with me like this no more. I might entertain you one time. And the reason why I'm trying to entertain you is because I'm trying to see if you just a raggedy piece of shit person, all right, or you have a hard time figuring things out, so you need to argue to get to the rationality, because I'm been wearing this skin for a long time, and I understand that people go through that because I come from that.
Yeah.
You see, so I know how it is. Like we black men, we be standing around having a conversation, and somebody like that. You know, I've been in places where it's just black men, and we just excited and talking. Nah, bro, hell nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? And people walking by like, y'all loud, y'all this, y'all that. Like, shut the fuck up and mind your business. You know. So
Facts.
I come from that environment, and then I also know, and then I also been in environments where, you know, what we talking about, you got a code switch, right? And it's a time and a place for everything. So I have the maturity to understand that. So if I interact with somebody and they want to take this verbal approach where they want to get negative, if you a man, I'm gonna ask you, do you want to fight? I'm not gonna waste time jaw jacking with you, you know, because as a man, if we're trying to talk it out, but you acting like you super tough, like you want to fight, like I ain't just super tough, man. My back bad, my knee, I'm disabled. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna give it a shot to whoop your ass though, if that's what you really want. Because I don't want that. I'm asking for resolve. I done probably offered some type of solution that I thought was common sense, but obviously it ain't common, right? That saying, right? But yet that wasn't good enough, because you want to do what you do with your woman. You want to do what you do with your girl, you know, and I ain't your girl. Okay. So that's why the masculine energy is going to rise to the top. If we doing that with the feminine energy, with a woman, with the actual woman, Okay. Then it's just like, okay, well, let me see. Let's have a conversation, right? Because having a conversation is determining if we're going to get to resolve. Are you a woman who is irrational?
Hmm.
Are your emotions, you know, overwhelming you at this point in time, and you need to yell and you need to fuss to get out whatever your frustration is, so you can hear the logic that's coming through, so you can realize after you was even you brought negative to the conversation, all right, and then the person obliged you, but then said that ain't what you really want. We don't really want negative. We don't want to be niggas and bitches. We want to be owners. We want to be better. We want to be better than that. We want to be black people. We want to be upstanding African Americans. We want to be positive, productive people in society, right? So maybe you letting go of that niggerdom, of that what I call it, ignorance. Maybe you at a growth point, so I gotta be mature enough to understand. Okay, well, maybe sometimes you gotta argue with a person just to see. But what I realize is, what's now common sense to me is that once you allow that person that energy, then they become cool with it, because not because of what you did, it's because everybody else around them allows them to act like that with them. And you different because, and I'm different because I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna give you one time. And with our one time, with the negative and the action, I'll even come back and apologize for the way I behaved. Because I'm trying to acknowledge the fact that we're better than that. We can be. Here's our chance to exemplify it. But that saying goes, you can't want it for somebody else more than they want it for themselves.
No.
And just like you say every day, waking up to be a better version of myself than I was yesterday, it takes accountability. So you have to
Right.
be willing to look at yourself and say, you know what, I did something wrong. I ain't proud of. I ain't scared to apologize. You know, apologies are for strong people. People that don't apologize are weak pieces of boo boo mofos. Remember, we said
All
we ain't even gonna cuss.
fact.
We ain't even
All
gonna
fact.
cuss. It's a strong characteristic to be able to apologize when you know you wrong, because that shows a desire to be better, and
All
it shows human compassion. You never know, a person may even laugh and be like, you ain't have to do all that whoop de whoop, you know what I'm saying, and laugh at it, you know what I'm saying, and just be joking with you with it, like, you was tripping though, boom boom boom, you know. You can make a I've made friends, I'm from the hood, I made friends like that,
That's true.
and we did worse to each other, you know what I'm saying, that I'm not gonna glorify, because I don't, because I've been left that, so it ain't no point to prove, but I'm still here. And anybody who know me, know I ain't capping. You know, on my birthday, guy, I get a phone call about lawyer money. You know, when the last time I was in the hood,
Lodge meeting.
that's it. And we doing work. We doing good business. You know, so I'm just like, come on, family. So, you know, when I hear the words common sense, you know, I'm at a I could have had some type of, you know, philosophical, some type of anything, but like I'm at a point with today, God, like I don't know what common sense is anymore. You know, my granddad used to say common sense ain't common to everybody, right? But now I'm to the point where I'm just like, you know, people aren't, like you said earlier, to your point, it's so excellent, God, that people aren't, their knowledge base is not on the same level. So what may be common to you is not common to them, and their common things is because they used to that. you know.
And what you just said makes that statement less offensive. Common sense and common for everybody sounds offensive when people be saying it because they be meaning it like that. But the reality is, like you're making the observation and you're saying it out loud that this person is from someplace different, and we're not communicating effectively right now, right? Like this person is not getting it. Like they might not be somebody you can talk to for real.
They
Like
might
they
not be somebody you can talk
like
to,
they,
right?
like they just might be somebody that got to talk to somebody else.
Right. You might have to meet, you might have to, anytime you interact with this person, you need a mediator, you know,
Facts.
because
Facts.
because this person is just that ignorant, you know,
Facts.
and that's it. It's just like they just that ignorant. They have made up in their mind that they hate you for some reason. When if when you know, or you made up in your mind that you hate them for some reason, you know, because people like to harbor hate and like to harbor drama, you know. And I tell anybody who got hate for me, I hope it turn into cancer and you die. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, because I'm an approachable person, so you can come and have a conversation with me and tell me Earl can get checked. Chef Earl Pearl can get checked. Bro, I ain't like what you said. I ain't like what you did. Blah, blah, blah. Don't come like you there about to execute some judgment because I'm going to protect myself.
Facts.
All right. But constructive, harsh, constructive, critic, brutal honesty, I'm with that. Okay. I'm with that so we can resolve because obviously you saying our relationship is messed up. I want to know where it went. I want to know where did we go wrong, you know, because that ain't cool. I feel some type of way about it. That's what family, that's what friend, my brothers, anybody, friends, anybody, unless you a coward. And then when I start seeing your coward activity, then I'm gonna know you was a coward from the beginning. You was fake from the beginning, and you really didn't fuck with me, funk with me. You know, we trying not to cuss. You
From the
really didn't.
beginning.
You really didn't funk with me from the beginning. You were trying to use me, and then when you could not use me the way that you wanted to, then now I'm the bad person.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I'm cool with that because that's what I'm seeing is normal in society. It's more cowards like that in society than stand-up people that actually go out their way and care about people and do stuff for people that they didn't ask for, you know, that they didn't ask. Even when they ask and they help, and when they didn't ask for it, they still help. You don't meet people like that, you know, every day. I know because I don't. That's why I do so much research for myself to stay learning. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody out here trying to get away. Ain't nobody out here trying to be cool with you and take you under their wing and show you this and show you that. Nah. So I gotta have
Yeah.
my own wings, you know. But definitely, God. So let's go ahead and get to tonight's definition. We are smoking on the word common sense, y'all. Make sure to smash that like button if you join us, and let us know what do you think of when you hear the words common sense in the chat or the comments below, depending on when you're watching the show. Um, let's go ahead and bring up the definition for common sense. And tonight, y'all, we are using the Merriam-Webster 1828 definition of common sense. It says that it is a noun and it says sound and prudent judgment based on a simple perception of the situation or facts. Sound and prudent judgment based on a simple perception of the situation or facts. What you got for that, God? What's your thoughts on that?
I get. See, that's the problem. They put the word simple as a problem because the way you see things and the way I see things is complex. especially if we coming from different. See, and I want to keep it on different regions, right? You know, migration, people coming from the north, going down to the south, people coming from the south going to the north, immigrants coming to any country, like everybody that's going to different countries, an immigrant to that country. Um, the way that you are accustomed to living life and walking through life is different than this next person, right? So what's simple is complex automatically. And when you talking about um facts, that get tricky too. You know what I'm saying? Because like, um, are the facts what actually happened, or what I think I saw happen, or what I heard
Come
happen?
on, that's well, we talking about a see now it sounds that's moving it to the court of law, all right? Because
Yeah,
that's the only place that is relevant.
yeah.
A court of law is the only place of can you prove this, you know, where people will go in and lie under oath, you know. We talking about before we get to sound and prudent judgment based on a simple perception of situational facts is not a uh, a ruling in a judgment. It's not a punishment of the courts. You know,
Like,
they may say that based on the evidence and the facts presented, right? Okay, but that's not considered common sense. What we talking about is the context and the way we use in this common sense where like I agree with you said, everybody's knowledge base is different. So because people's knowledge base is different, that's why we have these meanings that everybody has to different things. That's why one in community, if we putting it on communication, communication is the first blockage in the ability to be able to get something done effectively. And that's because the knowledge base is different. What I deem as common sense, you haven't been taught that, right? Or
yeah,
you
we talk,
or you
been
haven't e-
exposed to it,
exposed to it or encountered it to add value to it in the way that I do.
right?
Okay.
Like I'm a farmer, right? But I know nothing about bovine. Like I've never been around any cows, bulls, of any kind, right? Like I don't know anything about that. Um, but it doesn't take away the fact that I am a farmer, right? But you got specialties and you got people that got specific skill sets and people that got niches, and that's okay. And it's not a competition. It's like I thank God for those dudes, right? I like a good burger, right? And I ain't got the land to do that, so I appreciate all the people that do. Right? It's not it's never can be everybody should know everything just because you say, oh, you can't know everything.
I mean, you can't know everything, but it says sound and prudent judgment based on a simple perception of the situation or facts. So, you know, a simple perception of the situational facts. Everybody isn't knowledgeable about every situation or the facts, you know?
Yeah, that's my problem with that. That is the because it starts off really good and and it should be easy, right? Sound and prudent judgment. That sounds reasonable,
How
right?
knowledgeable are you about the facts? Now we can go to certain things, right? So let's say sound and prudent judgment based on simple perception of of the situation of facts. Now, when we talking about common sense, right? I had a situation where um I spoke to you about it with, but somebody was talking about courtesy,
Yeah,
right? So even courtesies, when they communicated it to me, I understand what they were because I'm on the knowledge level that they are, understanding courtesies. when they described some safety hazards and things like that that needed to be pointed out, I understood those safety habits and safety concern, you know, because I was trying to communicate some safety hazards and safety concerns, but was met with nastiness and disrespect. So I didn't feel like I needed to say nothing about them safety concerns, because if you ain't gonna do nothing about the main thing that I'm trying to holler at you about, then why I'm gonna warn you about, you know what I'm saying? Like you asked for that, you know, by
And
being
learn to fall.
yeah, like learn to fall, you know. Like when I was trying to be nice, you ain't want nice, you know, but you wanted to waste a person's time, all right, because the situation still hasn't been, they still haven't been a better version of themselves since the first time, right? I have, for sure. But we're gonna talk about that some more later on. All right. But here we go with sound and prudent judgment based on the situation and the facts, the courtesies, even something as a courtesy. If you don't look at it as those courtesies are something that I identify with, right? Like let's say something simple, holding the door open for a
Facts.
person, like holding the door open for a person when you passing in and out of a store, right? If you don't look at that as a common courtesy, then when you going in and out through doors and stuff, guess what you're gonna be doing? You're gonna be letting doors slam on people
Facts.
because you don't think that I don't need to hold no door. That's your attitude. So
Or
even that,
not, or you're not gonna say thank you for the person holding the door for you.
or you're not even gonna say thank you for somebody holding the door for you. It's so many, and that's what I'm talking about with like a situation, and somebody be like, damn it. Somebody might tell that person, like, man, it's like, damn, like you seen somebody coming behind you, why you ain't going and like it's common sense to hold the door for the person behind you or coming in,
Right there.
or if it's some women coming,
Yeah.
right? Or some elders, some babies, and you a man. I don't give a damn if you on a cane, because I've been on the cane, okay?
Yeah.
And if I don't keep my health together, I'm gonna remain on the cane. All right. So even if I got the cane, bro, if I'm getting out the truck with the cane in my hand and I'm going into no matter where it is, and there's some babies or some women or some elders, I'm holding the door.
Yeah.
But to somebody who ain't been taught no better, who don't value that, okay? Like I ain't holding the door because I'm looking for a thank you. I'm holding the door because that's what my granddad told me. I'm a respectable man, and you ain't gonna disrespect me because you having a bad day. But you could though. But I'm okay to be disrespected if you having a bad day. Just say that later on. Be human enough to say that, to admit that you was going through something and you wanted to take it out on me. So I don't think that is personal. Because now once I think that it's personal, then it's like, okay, well, I'm going to protect my person too.
Facts.
That's fair. That's human fair. That ain't, that ain't no racist thing. That ain't no
That's
ethnicity
self-preservation.
thing. That's self-preservation. Like, and I would expect you to do the same thing. But if you're not willing to have a mature conversation and accept accountability for your own actions, then you a coward. And you want to point, and you a Karen. You a coward ass Karen, and you want to point the finger at somebody else and act like you ain't throwing no rocks. That's sucker shit where I'm from. Even where I'm at now and I have grown, that's still some corny sucker stuff. Because we can be better versions of ourselves. And we don't have to curry stuff like that. Especially if you're not really trying to die about it, then you capping. Because I've been in a place, I'm from a place where People will have died about smaller things.
Very small things.
So
Like, you
let's
gotta
go.
be kidding me, small things.
Like, you gotta be kidding me, small, right? Like, really? Like, you know what I'm saying? God, like, you say, I'm like, damn, you shot the boy over there?
Come on, man.
Like, crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, I'm really from that. And the people who know me know that. But we don't glory. Look at where I'm at now. This is the joy, the celebration. When you come from a generation, like, God, we grew up in a generation where we weren't supposed to see 18 years old. That was
Definitely supposed to have a bunch of children.
that was a mantra. That was a whole narrative. That was a whole social narrative.
Yeah. That a lot of us had.
That was a social narrative that we not supposed, that any of them the late 70s born, 90s kid grew up in the 80s, all fun in the 90s, all that, you wasn't even supposed to see 18. You wasn't supposed to make it to the 2000s.
Nope.
And how many peers do we have that didn't make it through the 2000s?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we could think like, oh, well, it's common sense. You're supposed to know that. No, why? When we was living our life, we weren't checking for that, for what the old folks was doing, you know?
Not at all.
Right? So the thing is that I understand it. It's just that selfishness is at an all-time high right now. Like, it's just ridiculous. Selfishness has become a disgusting human characteristic, because
selfishness and a technical game. People. So when you was talking about I was thinking about we have different degrees of experiences, right? So somebody uh, may not think that what they're doing to you is as bad as it really is, and may not warrant.
Say that
Um,
again. What you said? Say that one more
they
time though. Run that back.
somebody might not think that what they're doing to you is as bad as you think or feel that it is. It come like that whole
Horrible.
why'd you shoot that man? All he did was spit in your face. Right? It come like, did the punishment deserve the crime kind of thing. And when you start thinking like that, instead of offense, defense, when you start putting levels to things, it complicates the simple perceptions, right? Or the scenarios, because if you don't think somebody getting spit on is worth getting shot, you might think that they only should get spit back on, right? And now you got a spit fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might think that that's but if one of those stupid people are on your jury, like, you fucked, right?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because they like, why he just didn't spit back? Duh, right? It wasn't even that serious, right? Like, nobody died. Well, until he took it too far, right? And that's what I mean by that, right? Like,
I mean, even if you broke some teeth out their mouth, they still gonna think you took it too far. You still could end up in front of a jury for breaking some teeth.
And that's what I'm saying, right? Like, because we see things in degrees, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no no baseline that we all accept as this. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Like, we got all this. Well, technically, that's why I hate debates, because debates take away right is right, wrong is wrong, and it makes it so that whoever has the best ability to articulate and orate is the better debater. And if they are the better debater, then they win.
No. And see, that's only if they are debating. Okay.
That's what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying.
But there still is a right or a wrong. Okay. So I don't care. Like, and see, that's only and that's only God when people are not being honest about what they did. You know,
Correct.
that's
Correct.
only when people haven't apologized. When I say, yeah, I called the person out their name after they called me out their name. Was I wrong for that? Yeah, I was, because I didn't have to stoop that low. See,
Mhm.
now I'm being accountable, right? So it doesn't matter if we debating that or not. I'm saying, yeah, I did. Now, will you say that you called me out my name first? Will you say that? Right?
Well, you ain't had to call me out my name like that. You ain't had to say it so harshly.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Will you admit that you brought that negative energy to the conversation and everything I said to you before that was kind?
Nah, God, like you had like kind of energy about yourself, right? Like it was like a
Hold on,
whole vibe.
We ain't talking about my energy about myself. We're not talking about, we talking about the conversation that we were having when I said, hey, is it fucked up between us? Like, is it fuck you? Is it fuck? Did I do something wrong? Let me know, because I ain't on that. That's not what I'm on. And I want to know what went wrong so that way we can correct it, because I really care about this issue that I'm coming to you with, and I need it fixed. I may not
Just
be
go.
telling you, that it's affecting my health, but I should, but it's HIPAA rules. I shouldn't have to disclose my health to you. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Facts.
I'm coming to you like with compassion. Like, I'm looking for your compassion. You understand what I'm saying?
100%. This is
And
where
then
it's
you
gonna sound a little
disrespect me.
crazy.
Yeah, then you disrespect me, God. So now I'm thinking in my brain, oh, well, it's common sense that when a person coming to you and they being respectful, that you should be. But obviously, I'm wrong, because their perception of the situation is obviously I'm being negative. How?
You're being negative. Yo, and you said how? And so this might ruffle some feathers, right? This is what I consider to be the feminization effect, right? Everybody, you had that whole feminization of the black man, the feminization of the man, and they was worried about making people gay and dudes wearing dresses and stuff like that. But for me, my observation,
What if you talking to a woman?
nah, but that's what I'm saying, right? So this gonna sound, as Spot said, it's gonna be controversial because what I'm saying is we've adopted a thought process of a female, of femininity, where
Got you.
where logically we're not going to necessarily listen to what is said for context first. um how I feel about what you said takes precedence, and I may not have heard exactly what you said because I was more focused on the feelings that I was feeling, and I actually um, heard something completely different. So when you said, "Is it fuck me?" I actually thought heard you say "fuck me."
Even when you asked, what you mean, right?
Yeah,
And I
but when
and
you
I
said
and
what
I
you mean,
reset it,
I
and I
thought you was being
reset it,
I thought
and
you was being sarcastic and playing in my face, right?
oh, so when I say no, I'm serious, and I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not, but based on what has happened, that's the way I'm interpreting this. And if I'm interpreting this wrong, then I'm here to have this conversation with you so you correct it. So the thing is, right, is that some people may not be advanced enough to have these conversations.
Correct. They're not mature enough yet, right? Like
They're not mature enough to have these
they
conversations.
still in their feelings,
You
right?
know,
They're not thinking for real. They in their feelings. They're not processing. They're only feeling.
they're only feeling. Because I get it when the guys do it. It's a colloquial term that's used for that. We're not gonna promote that, but but at the end of the day, it's just like, yeah, it is you acting real feminine. We get that part, you
Yeah.
know, because then they'll say, they've even said now, okay, because you're a man who's able to articulate yourself, you're sassy, you know, and it's like, okay, because I won't let you talk so loud and wrong to win,
Correct.
you know.
Because that's what they want to, because they're debating. They're not
Like,
having
come
a
on.
conversation. They're not engaging. People are debating. They
They're
want to
not trying to
win.
find a solution. They want to win.
They want to
Exactly.
win. And
You
and
know,
and that's why I bring up
they don't want
debates, because
peace. They don't want
they want
peace and equality. They
they
want
want
to
to win.
conquer. They want to win.
Yeah.
They don't know how much they have in common with Trump. You know what I'm saying? It's surprisingly, it's so many people that have that type of mindset and don't even know it.
Yeah.
But they ain't vote. But of course, but they hate his guts. But they just like somebody they hate. You know. I don't support no politicians. Like I think they all crooks, all of them. But that's just my personal opinion. But it's crazy how we see this
Based
and we
on the observations and the news.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
based on observations in the news. Word God. So we got common sense in the thesaurus, and they give it to us as in logical and as in prudence. So logical is based on sound reasoning or information. Sound reasoning or information. We see logical, reasonable, reasoned, sensible, rational, good, valid, solid, true, justified, commonsensical, hard, informed, well-founded, sober, plausible, firm, just, commonsensible, real, level-headed, credible, validated, actual, factual, convincing, certain, sure, cogent, confirmed, substantiated, certified, verified, corroborated, and colorable. Okay,
Colorable.
colorable. I mean, black folks was called colored people. I don't know why we ain't trying to be logical with what we doing. You know, if you can embrace nigga, then guess what? Then there shouldn't be such a problem saying, you know what? Let's keep it colorable. All right. Because colorable is related to logical and common sense. Nigga is related to something to defamate you. Check out our episode in the 60s or 70s. We talked about that.
Yeah.
All right. People who ain't even whose history don't even have that word in it love to use that word now. That's crazy. People whose ethnic history don't even have a use of that word like to use that word now to be cool. A word
Yeah.
that was specifically made to defamate African American people.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right? It's crazy. Tell me I'm lying. When y'all tell me I'm lying, I stop. So then we see common sense as imprudence, the ability to make intelligent decisions, especially in everyday matters. Nah, common sense is not common out here. Big facts. Based on prudence, common sense is not common at all. The ability to make intelligent decisions, especially in everyday matters, nah. People stupid out here for real.
Yo,
Dumb
not only are people stupid,
people stupid out here.
there's so much misinformation and disinformation out here that everyday matters isn't so everyday and mundane. Like that's what I'm saying. It's so much. It's too much for things to be common.
You
It's
know,
too many ways to manipulate and to tell a story, to sell news.
and only them people who think that they are actually stupid, who think that they don't possess prudence in their common sense, the ability to make intelligent decisions, especially in everyday matters, should feel offended, and you should be. But that only applies to the people who looking at themselves, right? Who look at themselves when they hear this and they say, damn, I know I fuck up. I know I mess up daily. I know I mess up, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, guess what? You can do something about it. You can make a choice to become a better version of yourself. And if this is something that can help it, improving my ability to make intelligent decisions, especially in everyday matters, then I need to be working on how to be intelligent. I need to be working on my decision making in my everyday matters. I need to be working on changing the things that I want to see in my life and make that happen. Because who else gonna do it for you? So ain't nobody telling you nothing, ain't nobody suggesting nothing to do that I ain't have to do for my own self. Okay. So in being prudent, we got prudence, wisdom, sense, horse sense, wit, discretion, policy, intelligence, brains, insight, logicalness, gumption, street smarts, logicality, gray matter, sensibleness, judgment, level-headedness, nous, discreetness, caution, practically, for thoughtfulness, discrimination. Got to discriminate on some of these folks. People be mad when I be like, man, them people is dirty. Them people lazy. Them folks tacky. Them folks ain't got no self-respect because they don't even know how to respect themselves enough to respect somebody else. Yeah, I'm discriminating against that low vibrational energy. Because my common sense tells me better that if I'm around that, that's going to be detrimental to elevation. And we need elevation. We working on getting better. We ain't working on anything that we thought was cool in the past. Now, did I think that that was cool in the past? Being ignorant. Not in all cases, okay, when we talking about the code switching, not thinking that, or holding on to the fact that I can talk to anybody any old type of way anywhere.
Facts.
Okay, no, that's not the case. There's a time and a place for everything. So I have to discriminate on talking like I'm in the hood, all right, or the ghetto, or wherever I'm at in the trenches, if I'm in a boardroom, or if I'm somewhere that is of value. And if I spend more time in them places that are of value, then guess what? I'm definitely have a goal. I definitely am looking at where I'm going. I'm definitely trying to have some foresight. I'm definitely trying to have some rationality, some farsightedness. And farsightedness means that I'm gonna have to discriminate on some of them things that I used to think was cool. And it ain't limited to people, it ain't limited to habits. It spans from people from relationships to habits to practices in order for me to get to that better version of myself. So then we see forehandedness, foresightedness, discernment, gotta have that. Saga City, penetration, rationalness, care. That's the first thing. Too many folks be saying, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. You care about something. And if it really start to affect you, then you really gonna care. I care about a lot of stuff. I don't have no I don't care attitude. I don't have no F nobody attitude. One, because I wouldn't even give you my hind parts to kiss. Okay. You know, in our culture, there's this negative thing where people be like SMD, right? You know, they like to say that. Suck my, I wouldn't even invite you to my private part. I cherish my private parts too much to invite you to it. That's why I wouldn't even give you my hind parts to kiss. Okay? You're not even worth kissing kissing where my doo-doo come out at. That's why I wouldn't give you my hind parts to kiss. Precautionary. You might have some funk on your tongue or something, or on your lip. You might have a bump on your lip. All right. Acumen, shrewdness. Yeah, I'm shrewd. Because I done been through some stuff. And still going through it today. And that's why I'm thankful for every single day that I get breath. Astuteness, circumspection, sapience, premeditation, keenness, clear-headedness. Okay? And what's that one right there, God? Perspicacity.
Yeah, perspicacity.
Perspicacity. Okay. We'll rock with that.
Perspicacity.
So that's what we getting from common sense.
Yo, click on the sapienism. Like, what is that?
Which one? Which one we want?
It said sapien. Sapiens.
Sapiens. Let's get it.
What the hell is that?
Sapiens. Let's check it out right here. So we got wisdom.
Or
we got wisdom, God.
Or
yeah,
that's what I'm saying, man. Like we got way too many feelings, and if you feel away and I feel away, what commonality is there other than we both got feelings?
I mean, I say this, God, like everybody gonna have feelings.
Yeah.
You know, like feelings are normal. Everybody gonna have feelings, but when do people make the mature decision of putting their feelings to the side? Okay, not completely removing them, just being able to put them to the side for a second and look
process of them,
right, and just say, okay, look, what's the goal here? What's the, what is, and what that does is now that begins to allow that person or that individual to now assess all of the actions. The first part of that, they're gonna spend on what they did, what you did, the blame. That's normal.
That's easy.
But you already know what pissed you off. Okay. How you will find the solution is figure out, why did you get pissed off about it? Did I cause anything? What moves did I make? See, this is where the accountability comes in. It's saying like, okay, what role did I play in it? It's different when somebody just did something to you and they just did something to you and you're a victim. Okay, that's cool. All right. And they're supposed to be held accountable. But when you actually have a situation where what I'm noticing a lot is where people do things and then they act like they ain't did shit.
Well, I ain't do anything.
They act like they don't accept no accountability, but they want people to be mad at what you did. They want to, like I always say, I always use it, throw rocks and hide their hand. Well, all we was doing was this. Well, we don't see what was such the problem. We was seeing what's the, like, you don't. It's unfortunate that you've been around people that have facilitated that type of behavior.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because that shit tacky. Like at the end of the day, like that's low class. You know what I'm saying?
To your point right, I apologize, God. To your point right there, that's where discretion, discernment, discrimination kicks in, because when you ask the question, you don't see how foul that was, and they be like, nah, son, and you be like, you really don't. At that moment, you have to accept like what you're dealing with, and be willing to walk away, right? You be willing to leave them there, or prepare yourself for the long haul, right?
Or
Like,
prepare yourself for the long haul. Touche. Touche. You just gotta prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for it. Prepare yourself for it,
because you
baby.
gotta fight, bro. Like you're
Prepare
in a fight.
yourself for it, baby. You know what I'm saying? You gotta prepare yourself for it.
You're in a fight. Like
For
you got
real,
12
God.
rounds, bro. You going
I'm
the
trying to
distance.
tell you. You know, and that's why I be like, not in no tough guy shit. Like I never
No,
been a sucker my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Are there people out there who could say, oh, he a sucker? I'm sure it is, because they use my love to do something conniving.
facts.
I ain't never worried about an enemy. It's only the people that I ever loved that did some sucker stuff to me. That's it. You know, because once you made yourself aware that you're an enemy, now I'm on defense. You know, now I'm watching you. Now, okay, let's see. Like if I don't want a war. I'd rather we just be cool and barbecue some wings and everything be cool, Share some, what's my man name from Tim the Tool Man? Like, what's his homeboy named Al, who was across the
Yeah,
gate? Like
yeah.
I'm trying to pass some cucumbers and stuff. You know what I'm saying, God? Like I'm trying to get the garden, go in the community garden and do some things, that the youth can see is beneficial, because ain't no examples of that no more. It's just McDonald's and fast food. These babies don't know how to feed themselves, but yet parents is understanding prices going up.
Yo, Tim the Two Man, that was a perfect example of what I'm talking about as far as tribalism, right? Because what they exemplified was a good neighborly relationship. They ain't even necessarily even see each other's face. Remember? Like,
They
because
didn't. For a long time, they didn't even know how he
like
looked.
it was
Well,
like a whole
we didn't know how he looked.
that's what I'm saying, right? For
Right.
from my perspective, it was like a whole relationship built with um helping each other out over the fence, right? Like, yo,
Over the
and it
fence.
was regular. We ain't even need to see each other face. You live right here, I live right here. I don't watch your family grow up. You done seen mine. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's our
It's
tribe is.
community. It's
That's what I'm saying.
community.
Like that's that tribalism that I'm talking about that we
It's
got to get back.
community.
Yeah,
And everybody want to live in a nice neighborhood, but don't nobody want community.
right. You got to be a good neighbor, right? If you can't, and that's the thing, right? Like people move into neighborhoods, right, or move into communities where they don't like the people that they are living around, right? And they want to change um the people that they move around instead of living someplace else, right? And that gets
Yes.
and that gets
Yes.
and that's tricky, right? Because on one
But you
hand,
don't pick your neighbors though. You
you
don't
don't.
you don't but I think that you can. I,
Yes.
I think I think I think at the right price point, you can pick your neighbors. So I'm striving for that. I'm striving for it. Really something that we're gonna show later on is what I'm kind of focused on. No neighbors at all. But if I have to live somewhere like this experience that I have been going through with my, with this particular home that I'm in now, I'm understanding, like, respectfully, you don't pick your neighbors, like, because anybody can get a mortgage, you
Yeah.
know, but these things that we say, like, a common sense, like, people not bringing, because they haven't been exposed to it, they got bad habits.
They got bad
And
habits.
they and it's not that I may not have thought that those habits were cool at some point in my life before I determined that they were bad habits. So yeah, there's a disagreements in habits, but it's just like, okay, you know, there are rules in place too. So that's another thing too. Like when there's rules in place, okay, so we say we don't pick your neighbors, or you can pick your neighbors. So like you got an HOA. Now here we go. Sometimes you have the HOA, and people run away from HOAs, right?
Correct.
But then my thing is like, okay, well, if you have a HOA, then don't you want it to function like it should be functioning, especially if people aren't following the rules. So then you discouraged by the HOA if you paying your money, but then when you have your complaints, then oh no, that's back on you. We don't do nothing with your complaints. That's back on you. All right. Or people violating, breaking codes in the HOA, but then it's no type of what do you call recourse,
Yeah.
recourse or enforcement of the
Yeah.
HOA rules. So it's just like everybody might as well just keep their money then. You know, like if y'all ain't gonna do nothing, then what we paying for? You know? And then there's this dynamic of people don't value nothing unless they paying a whole lot of money for it. You know, the ignorance, what we call it. That's not a cuss word. The ignorance. Oh, well, we not gonna rock DBCHEFTV, right? We're not gonna rock 1060 self-sustainability, 1016 self-sustainability, BK Soul Farm gear. But we got the Gucci the product because we paid $1,000, $2,000 for that t-shirt, and somebody else gonna value that, right? So that's what I'm saying. So like when we dealing with all of these things that are real, where people won't even support the people that they know, what we call won't even lift a finger to help your ass. Smash the like button. They won't even lift a
Literally
finger.
a thumbs up.
Literally, you know. We don't, you know, we have fun with the guy because we still going, you know, like we don't even care, you know, but it's so real though. You know, when you're dealing with this in real time in real life, and you're like, okay, is there common sense? Like, where is the common sense at with that? When we talking about the logicalness, and we talking about
that's what I'm saying, right? Like the tribalism is a lost connection that we don't have. You talk about the HOAs. You know how many people that I've talked to, new homeowners that have bought homes, knowing full and well that they had HOAs, and then complained about the HOA as if it was imposed on them after the fact.
yeah, that's
Right.
ridiculous.
So many people like they buy on the look that they accept the HOA as fine print and not as a reality of the look.
This where it go. Look at me. I'm in my new house. I ain't renting no
Yeah,
more. I'm a
yeah.
homeowner. I got this, I got that, right? All that bull jive, right?
Not realizing that $1,100 is due on the first. That's not your mortgage.
That's not your mortgage, right?
Yeah.
That's not your mortgage, right? You know, and I'm under the impression if I did have a HOA like that, right? That some of the things that I'm going through now as a homeowner in this particular community, I wouldn't even be going through it. If they was getting
Correct.
1,100 a month,
That's the money you talking about, right? Like,
yeah, that's that money that you would pay to be in an environment where you don't have to tolerate nonsense, you know, where you don't have to tolerate tacky, dirty behavior, you know, inconsiderate, you know, like, and you may not have to be around people who haven't caught up to your level of cleanliness, to your level of human consideration, you know.
another problem, God. Like, so in the social welfare system, at least in New York, a lot of new developments and high priced dwellings uh become part of the welfare program for whatever reasons. So people will come out of shelters and get vouchers for like bomb ass spots for a while, right? So you get a whole nother culture um residing in a place that they can't technically afford to be in regularly, but they qualify to be in technically. That's why I said I hate these technically motherfuckers. Well, technically, I'm in the same building you in, and technically I'm living just like you, but actuality, you're not paying the same mortgage or the same
You're not.
like you don't have like
Trust me.
you don't have the same
Trust me.
responsibilities that I have. So therefore you should probably be shutting the hell up for the most
Right.
part,
Like,
because you should be thankful that you can get into this building and just chill. But people take the other direction of, because I'm in here, you guys got to deal with me now,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? You
Mm-hmm.
got to deal with me now because I'm here now.
Mm-hmm.
Hot damn! Now here we go again. I'm here now,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right? And
that's why I said selfishness is at an all-time high.
all the time high,
Yeah,
right? And it's
selfishness at an all-time high.
yeah, and that's super whack and wild. And I don't know how we moved that at all, to be honest, because
Yeah, I don't know either.
because this is America. Everything is capitalism, and it's buy low, sell high. It's like get over where you can, pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Right.
But like it's tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to um I don't have a solution for that either, God. Like I don't even, I haven't even wrapped my mind around it.
Yeah.
But I do realize that with common sense with me is like is understanding like now, like even looking at this definition, like it's logical. Like I accept being goofy, old, bougie,
Yeah,
uppity,
yeah.
arrogant,
Sedity, all that.
sedity, conceited.
Yeah, yeah.
But I ain't broke though.
Nope,
I ain't no bum neither.
not needy.
I'm not needy.
Yeah,
None of that.
I'm not in lack at all.
I'm not in lack at all. You know. So I'll be all those other things as long as those other things I'm still making sure that they are, values that I have, assets that I have of myself, with even through my disabilities, even through days that I go through, the days that I doubt myself.
Facts.
Because don't think that it ain't that that it's all we on the internet. Like I always say, it's on the internet. We're gonna give you a show. It's we're gonna be entertained for real. So take it how you want to take it. If you want to meet the real me, then you got to meet me in person. But you're gonna have to be a good person in order for me to take you on, because I'm only doing black people in whiteface. Okay, so this goes to the Latinos, Asian, Southwest Asian, Pacific, anybody. Okay, like if you want some, my ninja type stuff, I'm not dealing with you. Okay, I know enough people from the ghetto, from the hood, low life. You know what I'm saying? Good folks still, good people. I still rock with them, but my exception is made. I already have my quota. Okay,
No new friends. I'm good on
you know what I'm saying?
that.
So you guys, so it's a lot of the elevated mindsets that I have now that we have to meet on that level in order for us to develop a friendship. You know,
Nothing. You really don't want to know me on a lower level.
and I don't think people don't want to know me on no level. A matter of fact, I don't even want to know the old me
Nah,
on that
so
level
like,
no more.
like that guy might be fun, but only when it's fun.
Yeah, and for Chef Earl Pearl being honestly, that guy was dangerous. You know, so like I said, I don't even want to be. I don't even like the old me. Okay, because that young guy didn't have compassion, didn't have consideration, didn't like now I care about death. I ain't scared to die. People get that confused. I care about death, so I care about my health. You know, I care about eating right, eating good, trying to exercise as much as I can, and my health restricts. You know, um, being in positive environments and doing good things and keeping myself in a positive space. We That's stuff to me that ain't getting me closer to death. But calling up my homeboy who's still in the street, going to go do this or whatever else, or trying to go do this, all this stuff I was doing when I was a teenager or in my early 20s, like
I'm definitely not going to snatch no chains. Definitely not going to break into no cars. I'm definitely not going to go bust no licks.
stop it.
Like
Stop it. If you call me and your conversation is about a lick, I'm hanging up on you. You know,
what?
even if it's a business deal and you calling it a lick, I'm still hanging up on you because your mind ain't right. You ain't even approaching it
You ain't call it.
correctly.
You don't want to talk to me.
Right. You want to talk to somebody who trying to help you scam. Who
Yeah, and
tr-
I don't want to scam
yeah.
nobody,
You know,
especially myself.
yeah, we're not gonna do that. We're not going, I've been not letting suckers trick me off my square for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna have to wake up 2 days earlier, you know, go to sleep 3 days later, you know, uh, it ain't happening. And that would be the end of that.
Mhm.
you know, in a past life, nothing this life, nothing this life. We're gonna let them live. They go to they get the resurrected on the third day. Don't you
Yeah,
know?
son.
They get the resurrected on the third day. So we got our second question in the evening: is common sense learned, or are we born with it, and why? Let us know in the live chat or in the comment section below. What you think, God? We born with it, or is it learned?
Based off the definition, I would say learned. If I use my children as an example, um, teaching them not to play in the kitchen, the dangers of the kitchen, of a hot oven, of a hot iron, right? Teaching them uh, that experience of putting their hand on a warm um, oven door, so they can know that if you touch this, it's gonna heat up, it's gonna hurt. They're gonna say "ow," and that's when you say "hot." And at that moment, they associate heat and they skin as hot, and they don't do that anymore unless they want to feel the heat right on their hand. But they have to learn what heat is. They have to learn the effects of of how heat affects the skin, right? They have to learn um life, and how to live in life. That's what parents do, right? That's why they say your mother is your first teacher, right? All the things that a child sees when they're looking up at their parents and they're looking out from sitting on your mom's lap into your environment, like you're observing and absorbing information of how to be and how to survive here, like in real time, as an infant, as a toddler, right? You learn based off your environment, right? And unfortunately, if your environment doesn't change, and you're not taught another way, not necessarily a better way, but another way to respond to circumstances and scenarios, you're more than likely, when challenged with a thing, to respond the same way as your parents and their parents would have responded if they were also in the same type of environment. So if nothing changes, you literally will be repeating things genetically and it will seem automatic, but the reality is nobody has seen fit to do anything different because everything's been the same, right? And if somebody does join the military and 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 sees a different life and sees something different, um, and they try to come back and tell everybody else, a lot of times they run into a wall of, oh, now you think you better, or you're that only worked for you because you're special somehow. You're lucky, right? Like somebody looked out for you or something like that. Like,
Somebody did.
facts.
Somebody did. Somebody looked out for Chef Earl Pearl. I ain't lying to you. Somebody looked out for me because I was on a crash course, So
You know what I'm
somebody looked out for me, couple people, Chief Lockhart, recruiter,
saying? You know what I'm
rest in
saying?
peace,
Rest in power. Yeah.
God first,
Yeah. Yeah.
my mama, Nana V,
Nana V.
I
Shout out to
dated
Nana V.
I dated a guy named Tony,
I
a
love
nice
you, Nana
guy
V.
named Tony. He was in the Coast Guard. Oh, Mom, what is the Coast Guard? Well, I don't know, but 12 days later, we at the front door. Okay, real talk. So yeah, somebody got to influence you. Somebody
Shout
got
out
to,
to Tony.
shout out to Mr. Tony.
You know what I'm saying?
For real,
Yeah,
for real,
man.
God. But
Yeah, that's what I think is learned because of all that.
no doubt. One of the things you said though, you was talking about how like people are in when we environments and people don't get a chance to see something different, they tend to do the same thing, and I think that that is a norm. I think that that's a social norm. In when you were relating it to parents and the children relationship with the hat,
Mm-hmm.
and from that point you're teaching. But I want to say I seen something that was totally awed me. Okay, that had me in awe.
Mm-hmm.
That in relative to that scenario, right? So, with my situation that I had with within my community, I had a situation of dealing with where um, a neighbor was allowing their animal to defecate,
Mm-hmm.
and on my property, at random because they would allow their pets to be on my property unsupervised, right? So, unlike cats, cats they litter in one place. If you let a dog off the leash, they're gonna poop where they feel like. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is the action of the parent. Okay. But one day I'm working in my yard and the children are playing, two children are playing. All right. And one is a child that lives there with that parent who's exemplifying that. And I would hearing enhancement devices or whatever. And sometimes I don't have them on because they had them dogs barking all the time and it's
Mm-hmm.
annoying. Right. So,
Yeah.
I've had dogs, man. I grew up with, and we did not have our dogs barking all the time. You know,
Yeah.
we also kept our dogs in the pen, so they wasn't, when we did have neighbors, they wasn't, pooping in everybody else's yard either. But from your example, not take away from what you were saying, that the teaching and the child knows the difference because the example is being set. Well, I heard this child with their friend, and I would describe it like this: the child was teaching their friend to rollerblade.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there was the child that knew how to rollerblade. We'll identify them as the child that knows how to rollerblade and the child that didn't know how to rollerblade. Okay. The child that didn't know how to rollerblade was communicating to the child that did know how to rollerblade, which is the child of the parent that is allowing the random boo booing to happen, right?
Yeah.
That child who doesn't know how to rollerblade says to the child who does, I want to go fast, but I don't want to fall. Right. So then that child says, the child of the parent who knows, the child who knows how to rollerblade, of the parent who's allowing the animals to just defecate in my yard without any consequence or anything, right? Says to the other child, you can go fast. You just have to fall in the grass. And once you get comfortable falling in the grass, like you'll gauge how, you'll get better and you won't fall, right? I thought that was, phenomenal. For because they're teaching each other how
Yeah,
to, how to fall, how to break your fall, how to and be okay with falling. Like falling is a part of it until you get good, you know,
gotta learn how to fall.
right? So I thought that was dope. I thought that was fire for real. But then what I thought was even more fire, based on what you saying, was that one child that lives in that home where their parent is exemplifying it's okay to not manage your own pets responsibly, said to their friend, but don't fall in my grass.
There's a lot of poop over there.
Because they didn't want their friend to fall in poop. Okay. So there's a situation where, yeah, you get taught something, but at some point you realize that that's wrong because somebody is exemplifying some bad behavior.
And
That's not
and
cool.
and they know it's wrong because they was like, don't fall in my grass though, because if you get poop on you, now can't come in the house. You gotta take a whole shower. You gotta wash your clothes. Man, now we're gonna be out here scooping up poop because.
But see, but this is the thing, God. To my credit, I didn't. When me and that parent had a disagreement, I made sure when that child was present that child didn't hear me verbally being disrespectful to their parent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not calling them out their name, not now earlier they might have been some choice words. But as soon as I seen that child, I made sure that child ain't see that.
But even self God, like, but don't fall in my grass, still may be only an acknowledgement that we let our dogs crap in our yard. So don't fall in my grass because you don't get crap on you.
Exactly.
Right. It might not be that they even know that it's wrong. It might be something that they just know that it's something that they do. And if you don't want crap on you, stay out of my yard because it's nasty.
And that's even what worse,
That is worse. Because
That's
that's what
even
they
worse.
because that means they literally learning to perpetuate the filth and the.
Right. They're continuing to not have any structure. So when I get older, now it's okay if I got a nice mini mansion, but the whole yard is full of poop.
And as long as they got friends from this age accepting that and still playing with them, then there is no urgency to clean up the poop so that you can do flips in your front yard or fall in your front yard and be cool and safe and at peace in your front yard with your friends. So as long as your friends come over and play and do their best not to fall in your grass, you will never ever clean it up. And you'll keep looking for friends that will accept your shit, crap, your crap.
But yeah, but I thought that was interesting though, God. I thought that was interesting because you made that clear point, like that does happen. Where people will learn these habits, and then they'll translate. Because how else do we get conditioned to do the things that we do? We learn these habits and then they get stuck with us because somebody told us it was okay. Somebody told us it was okay to underachieve. Somebody told us it was okay. Uh, 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 what's that one that we suffer from the most? Don't don't focus on money. Don't focus on money. Money ain't everything. Money is everything in the United States of America. What are you talking about?
In the world.
In the world, like you need some money to do everything. No, you
come with
don't
a
need
brand
money
new
to smile. No, you
No,
don't need money
no,
to smile.
no. You don't need money to love.
You don't need money to love, right?
Don't need money to breathe. That's
But
true.
right, but can you do that in the dark? What y'all gonna eat? Can you do that in the dark? And what you gonna eat?
In this polluted air, can you do that without a gas mask purified?
Where you gonna live at? Where you gonna live outside? Is that it? Because you got to pay for that.
Yeah, I pay for all that.
You know,
humidifiers, air purifiers, all kinds of things.
You got health care. You got to pay for that.
You got to pay for all that too.
Right. Remember, if you go and try to get this tax season right, if you try to go and get your refund and you ain't got no health care, they're gonna charge you for not having no health care. But they ain't gonna give you no more refund and no extra on your refund for not having it, right? But they're gonna charge you for not having it. That's where we live at.
Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? So you do need money. So that almost makes money everything.
Next to air. Next to air. I would agree. Next to air, it's right there. Yeah.
It's
MONEY.
Because you get charged for not having health insurance, but having it don't help you at all.
Having it don't help. You don't get no bonus for having health insurance. But if you don't have
breaks.
you get no bonus for it. Like, oh, here's a health stimulus. You know, you paid this much. You got this. How much your health care was this year? Okay, boom. You carry health. You know, we'll be getting a 1095 or something like that. You get your 1095 saying that from your provider saying that you had health care. Okay, cool. Boom, boom. All right. It ain't no reward for that. It's like, oh, you had it. So we're not going to tax you some extra money for not having it. And that's
Correct.
it.
That's it. Good job.
No matter your earning level.
You're compliant. Yeah.
For the rich who they say don't pay, who pay actually more than the poor folks, but you know what I'm saying? But to the poor. Or what people consider poor. Because I'm like, if you filing taxes, you ain't that poor. You might be a bad manager of your finances. You might need some discipline stuff that you need to do. But we would think that that's common sense. But that's not common sense, because if you've never been taught the importance of personal finance management of a budget, then you're going to be out here living from check to check, credit card debt, struggling, and all these other things, because you haven't taken enough seriousness in your life to say, you know what, I'm tired of this. And I want to do something about it. And I can do something. I just need to learn what it is. And then I'm going to do it, and I'm going to stick to it, because I don't want this thing to be a problem in my life no more. I'm going to have other problems because everything's borrowed. It's all borrowed.
What you say, God? Learn what to do it, and stick with it.
And stick with it. Learn what to do it, and stick with it. Learn what to do it, and stick with it. Like how 1, 2, 3.
That's it.
It sounds so easy. It sounds it's easy. It just takes some doing. It just takes some want, some desire. That's really it.
And you really gotta want your desire. You really gotta want that want, right? Like you gotta want it so bad that, like, almost like you chasing a girl like that, like, or you chasing money, or you chasing the food, or whatever it is that you chase, or chasing a high, whatever it is that you're doing, like you gotta want it that much.
Yeah, chasing a girl or chasing a high, same thing.
Yeah,
right. So our third question: why do you think people say use your common sense when mistakes is made? When mistakes is made. Part now, grandma night, y'all. We got a little. When mistakes is made, why you think folks say, why you ain't use your common sense?
lazy communicators, right?
Always lazy.
Um, they don't want to take the time to actually explain to the person why or where they actually were in error, right? They don't think that the person is deserving of their attention or time, and they don't value the person enough or themselves enough to better this person so that there could be some commonality amongst them, at least for their communication, right? So they choose to be offended because that's kind of like the tone that happens next, right? You know, why you didn't use your common sense? Like it's like the next thing is I'm mad about it now. I take offense to whatever it is that you did because it affected me or impacted me somehow, right? Um, and it's just a total lack of consideration. Um, just that's what I'm saying. Just this is lazy communication. Like we just don't say enough words because we don't value ourselves or the other person enough to actually get down to the root of what it is that needs to be said so that we can be the best versions of ourselves, right? We are accepting of mediocrity and nothing. Like we see like so much superficial surface level interactions. You know, look at our greetings, God. We say things like, "Hey, how you doing?" And like we ask a whole question that we 100% don't want to answer to for real.
That's
Like
not for me though.
no, not for me. Like not for me
Not for
either,
me.
right?
Not for
But
me.
I'm talking about commonly though,
Because
right?
I practice that. If I
Yeah,
ask you, hey, how your day going? You know, how are things? Like I'm honest about. I'm willing to stop and have a conversation. If you ain't had nobody to talk to, and you need somebody, and you need my ear for that, like I said,
I'm
I
here
got
for that.
about 75% hearing. That I'm about 65% hearing capable. So, you know, I'm like, I can listen to you shit, you know what I'm saying? And you never know. I might come up with something I might come up with a, I like
Right.
I'm from that school where, where we got a lot of answers for stuff, you
But
know.
most people, like for me, the greeting is hello. Like if I'm not interested in the conversation and I'm literally just being polite and cordial, then it's hello, right? But
Right.
if I'm interested and I say, hey, how you doing? That's me asking you how you doing, right? Like, how your day going? Like any question that I'm asking, but again, we are the minority, right? Like we are of the minority, which is why common sense is so hard because um if somebody was to ask when people ask me how I'm doing, like at the job, I tell them to have a seat. Let's sit down and let's talk about it. And in that reaction to hey, have a seat, I'm like, I discern at that moment if I'm gonna give up some of myself or not, right? Because I can tell because if you my man's, you gonna sit down, right? Like you gonna see you probably gonna be sitting down already, right? Like right,
Yeah, you
like
pulled
so
up. I pulled
you
up.
pulled up, right?
Yeah, like, I came to sit with you and chill
I
for a
can't
minute.
sit with you and chill, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, so, but if you're not willing to sit and you just try to have a drive-by conversation, like that's super lame and super whack. And so many people do that with a smile on their face, thinking that them being nice is a good thing and not harmful, right? That this nice act is not offensive to me. Like it's like I don't see it as a waste of my time and of yours. Like I think that you're I think that you're wasting both of our time right now by not being sincere in your communications with me because I'm a sincere kind of person.
Right.
right? And
I should appreciate your fakeness, right?
you know,
I should appreciate your fakeness that you brought to the table, right?
you know what I'm saying? Like that boy good. That boy good.
You know, like nah, go
Sexy
kick it,
chocolate.
go kick
Sexy
it with the rest
chocolate.
of them people that allow fake kicking.
I don't want
Yeah,
that. Like
I ain't no fake kicker type person, man. Like we gonna
no,
be
I don't like
solid,
that.
or you know, or I don't have no problem with being a minder of my own business, you know.
Facts, bro. I like having people in my life that I don't have to talk to every day or every week or every month or even every year, right? And they know, or correction, we know that there's no beef and it's all love, right? Like we acknowledge that we're all busy and we're living our lives and that we didn't even fall apart. Like we just got trapped in our lane and got stuck there for a little bit. And when we intersect, it's like, oh snap! Like what up, fam? Like and it's hugs.
That's for love though.
That's
Some
love,
people think
right?
it's beef though. Yeah, some people think it's
But
beef.
that's what I'm saying. Like the majority of
Yeah,
people
some
think it's
people think it's
beef. Like,
beef.
oh,
Yeah.
you ain't called me. You know, the phone work both ways. I'm like, it do work both ways. So like if you want to have a relationship with somebody, reach out and say, hey, I want to have a relationship with you. Let that person tell you or show you that you ain't it or that they not it, right? But don't feel and based off that feeling, make a decision.
Yeah, that's a big ask for a lot of people, you know.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Because
Like
people so
that's
feelings driven instead of
that's the feminization for me, right? In my mind,
yeah,
like we
instead of
so
being logical.
feeling driven. I'm like, have your feelings. I ain't saying I'm not saying not to have feelings. I'm not saying that you're supposed to be a robot out here and made of ice and stone cold. I'm saying take a step back and allow yourself to process your feelings. Like acknowledge that you are human and that you are having an experience of feelings, right? And nobody, to include yourself, deserves to deal with you in this vulnerable state. So you probably need to get safe so that you can manage yourself and be ready for the world. Because if you deal with the world and your feelings, you get school shootings, you get January 6th, we get the 9/11s, we get all this cornball stuff from people that feel so much that they'll put a plane into a building, like they'll ride the plane into the building, like they will climb a wall into the Capitol building instead of walking up the stairs. They feel so much. They'll scale a wall. They'll throw a damn thing and scale a wall instead of walking up the steps that's right there because they feel so much. Like
It made it look more dramatic when they
yeah,
throwing a grappling hook. Like, really, you could have walked up the steps.
that's right there.
Yeah,
Like
but
yo, God, like when
yeah,
they were showing it, I was
man,
like, damn, like
yeah.
they got grappling hooks and stuff, like they got real rock climbers. Then like they pan down. I'm like, but the stairs right there though. Like why they
I'm
not
like,
walking?
this is
Like,
CGI. That's not real. They just it wasn't even that many people for a grappling hook. Like they just, you know.
all right, but
But
that's
I
what
get it though. I get it.
yeah, like, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, we need more sincerity, man. Like more plain dealings, way less sucker stuff, and it's tough, man.
Way less sucker stuff. I don't know if we're gonna get that.
Like, people, that's what I say
I don't
is
know if we're
lazy.
gonna get that guy because you could have a person in their feelings. Now, what is this though? You said people in their feelings, right? And then they go and they take time and they deduce, and which is fair because like if I've been in my feelings before, I had to go and get in my quiet corner and acknowledge
Oh,
my
otherwise, it's a
right,
bad day.
right. So,
It's a bad day.
but what about when people get in their feelings, but then don't apologize. They try to fake apologize.
They
You
still in
know,
their feelings.
so that means and that's how I interpret that too. Because if 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 you do something wrong, if we have an argument,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say you realize you started an argument, I came to you right with a concern,
Mm-hmm.
and then you escalated into an argument. You took it somewhere else, right? And I'm just like, okay, like I ain't even on that. All right. But that's where you want to take it. So then I take it there with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we still talk. It don't get to no blows or nothing like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you go back later on and you realize that you was wrong. Like that you could have handled some shit different. And that the person wasn't on that type of time with you, right? But you don't come back to me and apologize. What you try to do is just be like, what's up, Pearl? Blah, 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 blah. Right?
I'm laughing because
Like,
this happened
like,
to me a little while ago.
Pearl, you so crazy, man.
You so
And
crazy,
and you
son.
be talking all, you know what I'm saying? Um, but man, what's good with but you know, but it's all love though, right? Okay.
You ain't had to talk to me crazy like that though.
You know, so
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, so what was you going through though? You know, like why you took it there? You know what I'm saying? Like what was that? Like you're not even going to address that. You just gonna get straight to the whole. You're not even gonna acknowledge that you was wrong. You just want to now be on some playful, cool shit. You know what I'm saying? And skip the fact that you just started a whole arc. Like you just had my whole blood pressure up for nothing. You know what I'm saying? For you to and like and me, I'm standing on it like you can't fucking play with me like that. You know? So now you mad because I'm telling you, nah, God, you can't play with me like that. So either you have to hold yourself accountable, or I'm not fucking with you, or I'm not cool with you no more like that. You know, you need to explain to me why that was more important, why the chaos was more important than get to resolve. If we trying to get to a resolve, because my whole thing was get to resolve. My whole thing was not approach you to play with you and waste your time, but you thought my time was wastable and disrespecting me. Okay.
And this is where in the definition, that's why I say simple perceptions of facts gets tricky, because if the person don't see that they actually hit first, and they not really apologizing, and they actually still hitting in their apology, right? Like in their mind, they did take accountability. In their mind,
For intentionally wanting to hit, right? So
yeah,
they
like, but
intentionally
but
wanted to
but
fight.
but to your point, but nah, not really. Because to your point, they never they never did the thing that needs to really happen so that you could understand and actually accept what it is that they saying, right? Like what was you going through to cause you to conflict with me? Like you was having a bad day. Like what was going on? Like why
Yeah.
did that why did that because that's why I say the facts. And if they don't be honest with the facts that they were in their feelings for whatever reason. Like if they don't acknowledge that, if they still on a macho, I'm not really acknowledging that. I'm just gonna ignore that, but I'm still gonna feel that, and I'm still gonna express those feelings. But um, I'm not gonna process it. I'm not gonna work on them. I'm not gonna focus on them or think about them. I'm just gonna feel them and express them. They haven't dealt with the facts. So the simple perception is automatically not simple because y'all dealing with different sets of facts.
So would it be right for me to be like they just lazy time wasters?
Yeah, that's what I said. Lazy.
They
That's what I said. Lazy
they lazy
communicator.
they lazy time wasters who basically are attention prostitutes because they just want attention. They don't want
Yeah,
solution. They just want attention, and they don't care how they get it. If they could get it at your cost, then they enjoying it because the people who they would love to really care about them and give them attention don't give a shit about them.
correct.
That's
Because
crazy.
what they say, attention is the new currency, right? And everything on social media, like that's why you got so many people videotaping and posting criminal activities. Like you see all these little fights that escalate into deaths and people recording themselves physically assaulting disabled people and laughing about it and sharing it all. I'm like, man, in my mind, they are doing these things because they don't see these things as being that bad, right? The young, I forget, I don't want to even pretend like I remember her name. I do forget the young lady name that just lost her life, who was bullied outside of the school bus and she got jumped. They she was put in the hospital and subsequently lost her life. Just I heard about just recently. I want to say like a 15-year little girl. I can't think of her name at all. Um, and I'm saying, you know, the whole thing was caught on video and everybody was laughing and it was fun and games, you know, and these little girls, I'm thinking, even if they were saying, kill that bee, or we gonna kill her, even if they were saying the most wicked and vile things, I really don't think that they anticipated it going that far and the consequences that come with their actions. I 100% don't think that they anticipated
That they
what they
thought
about to
that
get.
through.
I don't think so at all.
You know, a lot
Uh,
of people don't think stuff through though, God, in the heat of the moment. You know,
yeah,
I've been there before, and that's why now one thing I was saying before, like about my word, you know, I have to be careful with my word because I keep my word. Like, you know, like a lot of people know me from a lot of different situations, and they'll be like, you know, one thing about Pearl, like he gonna keep his word. And I had to realize like how significant that is and how dangerous that can be at times too when you keep your word and you say something and then you don't even intentionally mean to do it, but it happens. Or you put yourself in a situation where it's likely to happen and you don't even realize you until you in the situation you haven't realized, damn, I didn't put myself in this situation. You know, but there's always an accountability for that. And like you what you talking about with them young people who with that situation, like where was the logic, the but you know, let's call it the common sense or the prudence prior to making that judgment of we're gonna go do this. We're going to go put ourselves in this situation. And that's a big part of that logical thing and accountability. Like yes, there's always this tit for tat victim shit. Well, if you didn't do this, well, I wouldn't have did that. And if you wouldn't have did this, well, we wouldn't have do that. Like that's childish. That's immature and it lacks accountability because you want to be right about something that you did that was wrong in the first place.
yeah,
You know, instead of being correct on all accounts so there can be solution and there can be peace. But people don't want peace. They want a reason to have a reason to hate, to resent because they life miserable. You know, misery likes company. You know, they're not happy with the own choices that they're making. Look how stupid that sounds. You not happy with your life and they the own and you the person who make the choices for yourself.
all of them,
Look how stupid that sounds. I
all of them.
could I could hear a child saying, I'm not happy with my life because my parents tell me everything to do, but you're a whole adult.
I hated wearing corduroys, God. I ain't bought a pair since I became an adult. You
I
you
got
can you can make
I
you
got
can
some
make
Ralph.
choices.
I got some Ralph in the collection. I got some Ralph Roys, you know.
So I went back home and saw my dad. He had a corduroy suit. He put it on. I was like,
He
it was
got the
kind of fire.
suit. He had the
It was
suit.
kind of it
Yeah.
was kind of fire. I was like, it kind of was a little
He had
bit.
that padding. He had that Paddington bear.
It was kind of fire. I was like, hey, real quick, the young lady's name, may she rest in power. Name was Jada West. 12 years old. A student lost her life. They reported as a fight, but they said it was a result of ongoing bullying. So I don't like to say that it was a fight if it was bullying going on. She was defending herself, um, and she was being bullied. So
you know, guys. I look at it like I got a situation that I'm like I could feel like I'm being, but I don't have a. I have to be honest. We have to turn down the 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 masculine energy and say, okay,
mhm.
if you're being bullied, you're being bullied,
No,
right?
fact.
If you're being antagonized and constantly being picked on, then you're being antagonized and being picked on. It's not saying that I can't fight.
Facts.
Yeah, it's not saying that I can't fight back. you
Facts.
know, but but it's calling out what it is,
Yeah,
and those are things that like there's a lens that people see stuff through, you know, like like in the case of where I was talking about with the neighbors animals pooping in my
yeah,
yard, like they sent the animal control out, right? But then when animal control came out, animal control lied to me, okay, to get my license, to get my identification, to write a ticket. So I called down the animal control the next day and was just like, hey, like your officer came out here and lied to me, right? So then when I call animal control comes out, it's the same officer. Now this officer has a grudge against me because I called down there and told about her lack of integrity,
yeah.
right? Like you lied to me. Okay, because in that situation, I'm a victim. I'm not standing on, I'm a victim, I'm crying, Nah, I ain't doing all that. I'm just saying, like, y'all
But
acting
the
like I can't,
reality is,
yeah, like y'all acting like I can't fight back, right? Like I don't have no rights to fight back. But there was some balance, okay, there was some masculine energy. You gotta understand, if a person got a job where they love animals, if they encounter a situation, their judgment is compromised automatically if they think that the other person don't love animals the same way that they love them. Okay, so it's always going to be so like people have to understand that there's going to be a lack of integrity on that part, which was exemplified. Then when they came back, you know what they told me? Now I told this same law enforcement person that I did not purposely, my intent was not what turned out, because I took responsibility for what I did, right?
mhm,
But do you know that they told me that I could have done the same thing because it was a different animal? That's what they told me. But they told me that sarcastically, like, well, you could have whatchamacallit it. You could have hit the dog, right? And I'm just like, I, t- I, when you told me that I hit the dog the first time, all right, when y'all gave me a warning, I was apologetic. I was compassionate. I wanted to know if I needed to do anything to aid, because that wasn't my intentions. Yeah, I put on a show because I had been asking, and my peaceful acts kept being met with ignorance, okay, and lies. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. But the same thing keep going on. That's how you can get under the impression. Is like, are you lying to me? Is it fuck me? We trying not to cuss. You know what I'm saying? Is it F you?
mhm.
That's how you get to that point. But then now when you call the law enforcement who's supposed to be non-biased and they come in with a bias, then how do you even trust them to come in and now assess the situation when they coming back and they telling you because they think it's harmless. They don't understand. They don't understand that you disabled, that you got bad back, that you got bad knees, and then when you go out and work in your yard, you got to step in doo-doo. Okay,
That's
they
what I'm
don't.
saying, God.
They don't think. They don't think. They don't think that that's important. Like, no, you stepping in doo-doo ain't more important than these dogs. That's not yours. That you don't feed, you don't house, you don't do nothing, you don't play with, you don't pet or nothing. They not even your responsibility. Can come on your property and just doo-doo unattended. That's a violation of county rules and a violation of the HOA, right? They don't have no compassion for that. Why? Is it because you're a black man and you got your own stuff? See, that's the thing I'm talking about. Like, it makes you have to resort to thinking like that, because it's like all the common sense is gone. All the logical stuff is gone. All of the proof, all the evidence and everything else that you could provide, because there's so much feeling and emotion and no logical, no prudence, no value in the truth, that it's like it makes you it makes you get to a point where you gotta be like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Is it because I'm a black man? Is it because I got my own? You know, what is it? It's because I challenged you on your integrity and I didn't lie on you. We look to the law officers as the non-biased balance. But if you come in and you lack integrity and you lying, then you know what I'm saying? Then we by ourselves. Then you have to do rogue justice. You have to take the law into your own hands, right? And then who knows how crazy you is, which is how far you willing to go. You could go Middle East, or you could go,
You know what I'm saying?
or you could
Like,
go
that's what I'm
Supreme
saying.
Court Justice. You know what I'm saying? Innocent too, ready or not. You know what I mean? So like, do the facts line up type. You know, you could do that. You don't know how. You know, so it's like, so you need that mediation, and when the mediation is compromised, you know, then you still don't get no resolve. You know, you still get a whole bunch of negative, and it may not even be you causing the negative. I'm like, right? I don't, the crazy part is like, I don't hang out, you know, outside. You know, God, like, you know, when I call you and I see you like sitting on the porch, you're enjoying the porch with your son, you know what I'm saying, taking in some summer, sipping some lemonade, cooling. Like, God, I don't even do that. I don't even do that. I don't even just be sitting on the so looking at everybody. Why? I don't even do that. When I'm outside, I'm working. I relax inside because I probably got some more work to do. You know, so it's like when you, it's like where's the common sense at? Nobody wants to add no type of commonsensical value to anything. No prudence, no logic. It's just all this selfishness of, you know, and then they'll tell you think you're better because you value things like integrity, truth, honesty, accountability, responsibility, some compassion, some compromise, some consideration.
Yeah.
Word, God. For others.
You practice and have humility.
Practice and have humility. Empathy, even.
Not trying to humble nobody.
Not trying to humble nobody. Be the best version of yourself that you could be. And you still get the nonsense. It's like, man, yeah, it's crazy. So our fourth question: have you ever experienced common sense help or harm you, and how, God? Let us know in the live chat or in the comment section below. Shout out to Peace, Power, and Profit to Dr. Lamb.
Hey, peace, sis. Have I ever experienced common sense help or harm, and how?
Have you ever experienced common sense help or harm, and how?
Yes, I've experienced common sense help before.
Yeah, help you. I'm sorry. We help you or harm you, and how?
Yeah, so I remember we was doing a we was getting doing sea trials, and when you get ready to get to do a deployment, you gotta go through a whole bunch of inspections and stuff like that. And and on a boat on a ship, everybody's a firefighter, right? Like when you float in the middle of the ocean, there's no one to call for help to come put this fire out for you or to come do anything for you. So everybody has to do their part, right? And period, right? No matter how you feel about it, everybody got to do their part.
Yeah.
I had a role on the hose. I was one of the hosmen, and I'm in full gear, and it's smoky, it's hot, it's foggy, and it's loud. Adrenaline is pumping, and I got on a lot of gear. I'm tight. I'm gonna use a Navy term. We nut the butt, right? On that line, like so it's crowded. We in a ladder well, and my anxiety, my claustrophobia, it kicks in like a month, right? I'm in the shit. I'm on the line. The fire is right there. You can feel the heat, right? Like it's there, and I lose it, right? I go crazy. I'm trying to get out of my thing. I clear myself. I go up the ladder, and I'm in the hangar, and I'm having a full on panic attack right now. And what happened was the inspectors uh, put a cease to the exercise, training time out.
Mm-hmm.
Everything had to all stop. Everything came to a complete stop, and they grabbed me, made sure I was okay, and they said, never ever put this man in this position or this scenario ever again. That didn't alleviate me from being a firefighter on the boat. However, it did put me in a position to give me more freedom, more space, and more room so that I can be safe and I can provide a service to my shipmates, right? In this emergency. So to me, that was a common sense thing where it made sense for everybody's safety
Mm-hmm.
to reassign this one individual, not punish them, not kick them out the Navy, um, but to give them another opportunity to be the best version of themselves by putting them in another assignment that they might be able to handle. And I was able to be an investigator, and it was crazy because I had to be the person to now verify that there was a fire.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking they'd have put you in a repair locker or something. It's like, damn, they said, nah, make his ass up. Go burn him up first. Go burn him up first. They didn't even say, nah, let's put him in a repair locker.
Yeah,
He
that's what I
probably be
was
an
thinking,
excellent
God.
plotter, talker on the one JV.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
know,
No, it's an investigator.
hell
Go check
no.
it out.
It's
Tell me, tell me, kind of fire that
he could
nigga.
die first. We go ahead and burn your ass up first, get you out the way.
Make sure you dog down that hatch first, though. You know
Right. Make sure you set zebra.
what I'm
That's crazy.
saying? Yeah, guys. So that's
Oh
that's
man.
that's that's my story. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Ironically, I think that's the only one I got actually,
That's crazy.
and that's even crazy. I think.
That's crazy. Nah, that's what's up though. It's so crazy that you remember that though. And it made you an investigator though. That was so bad. I wouldn't have made I would let me tell you something. If I was like the damage control chief or something like that, man, I wouldn't have made you an investigator, God. I would have put you in the
Repair
repair
locker.
locker, God. I would
Repair
have had you
locker.
be a plotter or a phone talker or something,
Everybody's safe now. You know what
passing
I'm
out gear, like
saying? Yeah.
you
Hey, what you
know,
need? What you need?
right? You know, you could have learned all the everything, all the shoring and all, because that's where all that stuff is. You know,
Yeah,
you
that
could
repair
learn
locker.
what that stuff is to get it out to the investigators so they can take it to the spaces. You know,
Facts.
yeah, like but but the investigators they carry it all. You know, I was in a repair locker, baby. I'm a repair locker. You know, I had an XO talking. I'm making the DCA look bad. I'm making the JOs look bad with that plotting on that board. I'm like, man,
Yo, they sold me on the guy. They're like, yo, you ain't gotta put out no fires, you ain't gotta patch no holes. All you gotta do is go and verify
yeah.
and dog down the hatch, right? I'm like, bet I can go do that. Then I realized as I run into the space, I'm like, yo, son, I'm running to the space. they say fire space, blah blah blah.
Investigators away. Investigators
I'm
away.
like what side of shit they say? Okay, stop aside, let me get over.
You first to go. First to walk right up in it.
Flying, God, flying.
First to walk right up in it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to rock with the investigators, but I didn't want to be one. Because I already knew what's that. It was like, you go first. Yeah, y'all gonna die first. Like, if it's flooding, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you got to go to the compartment with, you got to secure the flood first. They gonna let you die. They gonna let you die first.
Like you the one trapped in the room. Like that's you.
Yeah, that's you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, your sacrifice was for the crew, was for greater good. So that's why I always looked out for the investigators, man. For real, I always looked out for them because I was like, y'all don't really know that y'all die first.
You know, son. Like I didn't realize until that very first time. I was like, shit, like this is a real fire. Hold on now, this is not a drill. This is I'm running to a real fire right now. And there's an expectation of me.
Absolutely, to pass the info, you got to give all the accurate info. Oh my God. to the fire, to at least the DCC and the fire, to everybody on there. They're gonna be listening. What he said. What he said. I mean, did you write that down? You know, I'm on that thing listening to, writing down everything the investigators say.
God,
you know?
And as an investigator, like you can't investigate from afar.
No,
right.
Can't stand up on the bridge. Oh, it looked like down there. So no. Need to go put eyes on that.
You gotta go put your eyes on it. Like you gotta go to the space, son. You gotta go to the compartment, like the compartment. Like there's no way around that. Like trust but verify, man. Yeah,
verify again before we trust it.
And verify again.
You know, so much that even if we lose comms, it's verified. It's
not for nothing. That's what the investigator is, to verify again, because somebody reported this fire.
Yeah, it was already a report.
There's no fire alarms or no smoke detectors. Like there's
until somebody pull it.
Somebody did that, and now the investigator's going to verify.
Like you said, fire. Somebody announced that, and then the investigators away. That's the first thing you do. Investigators away. You know, they got y'all bag and everything. And all that. Y'all got y'all notes where you can write the messages and all that. It's a little emergency shoring, a little bit of, you know. One of y'all might have a fire extinguisher, might be a PKP or AFFF. You never know. Somebody might have, you know. So, yeah.
You learned a lot of stuff, man. You learned a lot of stuff, God. Like,
man, I enjoyed damage control. Like
that was a lot of stuff in damage control.
I enjoyed damage control for it. That was one, and mainly for me because I got to compete against the JOs, and it wasn't like that at first, but that's how the way they incentivized it. They wanted. I think they wanted me and some of the other, enlisted people to be better at what we were doing, because we had damage control, and we had like three repair lockers, 3 or 4 repair lockers. So they like, okay, well, it was enlisted people that was running the repair lockers.
Yeah.
But it was, damage control, that DC Central was all officers.
Yeah.
So and they got a JO up there that's plotting and phone talking and everything too, and trying to copy everything and blah blah blah. So they went to school for that shit, for that stuff. They've been in classes and everything. That's all they really have done until they get out into the fleet and they actually doing it. So it made it feel good when you sitting around and and they got all of the ship's blueprints, and they bring them on. They say, and then when they come to the all hands, they say everybody bring, like for the debrief, they like bring your blueprint, So you come, and then they come and be like this, like Petty Officer Leonard, looking like y'all can learn a lot. You know what I'm saying? I be sitting up there like, hey man, I don't just be cooking shit up too. I do a little bit more than just make your belly happy, But but definitely, God, that's a dope story. Have you ever experienced common sense help or harm you, and how? Just real quick before we jump into these flavor bombs. Just understanding now, when we talk about understanding the definition of how thinking that people should know something, or thinking that people should be on the same level. That's just those situations. Just it's numerous ones, but I'm just encountering more and more that you just can't have the common sense is now where is allowing me to understand that everybody isn't exposed. So unless they know, they may be used to that. That may be the norm to them, and that's why they conduct themselves that way.
Correct.
So so I either have a choice. I either have a choice to make to say, okay, I'm gonna tolerate it and I'm gonna work with it, to try to see if I can set an example and they can learn through me, or if it's just, you have to try to ignore it altogether, or there's some type of happy coexistence, some medium coexistence where I'm just like, okay, as long as that ain't affecting me, then I don't give a nothing about it. But a lot of times it's not that, because you only really care about things that affect you.
Facts.
So that's what common sense has helped me realize, that like
no matter how they make you feel on TV, you really only care about the stuff that affects you.
You really, because nobody's tripping off the bombs falling in anywhere over there right now, Israel or Iran or any other mother country.
Or the chemical warfare, or the biological warfare, or the starvation, or the tariffs,
the Cuba, right? In Cuba and all that stuff. The Venezuelan, none of that. Nobody cares about that. Everybody here is on they, whatever they on, right?
I can't believe TikTok exposes all that information. That's what they are. They worried about TikTok.
TikTok. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's great. So y'all, let us know what you think in the live chat or in the comment section below, depending on when you're watching the show. Have you ever experienced common sense help or harm you, and how? And before we get to our fifth and final question, we are going to go ahead and jump into tonight's Flavor Bombs.
Flavor Bombs, presented to you by DBCHEFTV.
Okay, so we got a few Flavor Bombs tonight, y'all. We got From the Hood to the Homestead. It's right along with us telling you to, suggesting to you, telling you, we telling you, go to www.bksoulfarm.com and pick up your version get yours, get your copy. That's yours with your name on it of 1016 160 self-sustainability. So we have a flavor bomb tonight that that is right on that line where that you can elevate and advance yourself, because we see what's going on in the world. That rhyme of reason with our second topic is TSA agents quit during partial shutdown. If y'all don't know, like part of the government is still shut down, y'all. It's people who are working who are still not getting paid. I know it's so much going on that it isn't so loud, but there are people working for the government that are having to quit because they aren't being able to sustain and take care of their households and things like that. Then we got number 3. We got U.S. troops identified in the U.S. military refueling crash. We're gonna go pay some condolences real quick to those 3 guys, those 3 service members, and then of course that's supposed to be 4, but it's number 1. Again, legend Tommy Hitman Hearn's family drama. So we're gonna look at a clip from that and just give a few opinions on what we think. And let's get into the clips real quick.
Where we at? Where we at, Cap?
Sand City, man. Cowboy Sand City, man.
This your
I'm about to build my house up there out of sand right there.
about to build your house where?
About to build a house up here, man.
Follow that.
You muted, God.
If y'all don't know who this is a cowboy. He used to be one of Nipsey Hussle homeboys, came up in the hood in Crenshaw and Compton, where he was from. And you've seen him around when Nipsey Hussle was around. And this is what he doing. Shout out to Cowboy, man.
Yeah, they say I see big homies out here still teaching the homies politicking about being in the hood. I feel my job is to show niggas how to get out of it. You know what I mean? Because, the hood always call us back. We always going back to the hood. We always, we got to say, you know what? It's a whole better life away from that shit. Because now I look at everything over there, nothing but drama, nothing but death. You know what I mean? So, yeah, this is my house going right here, boy, 360 house. Already starting on it.
Now, this is a long ways from Crenshaw. How do you feel about being out here?
Oh, man, I love it. I love it. You ain't seen a helicopter. You ain't seen a siren. Most you heard this morning is a dog bark. That's about it.
But a lot of dudes claim that they own a hood and don't have a house on there. How does it feel right now to own your own Crenshaw?
Man, I feel good, man. I seen niggas die in front of apartments we didn't even live in. We didn't even stay in them apartments. Yes, sir.
What is that
looking good?
What is the feeling of freedom like, man, to have your own, man? How important is it for a man to have his own?
Man, shit, look, we at war right now. You better have your own. You know what I mean? You better. Shit. They shut down that grocery store. What you gonna do? I got solar panels, got groceries right there. You know what I mean? Go up in these mountains, go do some hunting shit, So yeah, living off of the land. Like I said, I'm sitting here every day. I'm charging my phone. I'm watching TV. I ain't got no bill. So
They said homesteading is the new way for people that can't take the inner city or don't want to pay that exorbitant rent and to get away from violence. What's your take on that? Because you definitely on the marathon right now.
Yeah, I just think it's the smartest move though. Like you said, I was paying $3,000 a month just to pay one rent, and I had 3 buildings, so I was paying $16,000 a month just paying rents on stores and shit. Now I'm paying $500 a month. I got 5 city blocks. You know what I mean? So one of my gold chains paid for all this shit. So
wow, we said it again.
We talked to which was.
What you say? What paid for what?
One of my gold chains. You know, the price I paid for one of them gold chains. You know, when it was time to get this, I went to the pawn shop.
Now, Nipsey said in one of his interviews that he wanted to get some assets, some land, and some property.
Yeah.
That was one of his famous interviews.
Yeah.
How does that correlate with what you're doing right now?
Oh yeah, that's the real marathon, because we already see what's going on. You know, even last week they opened up Slauson and Crenshaw or whatever. They named it after them, but motherfuckers still down there politicking. You know what I mean? You ain't got enough respect, you know. So yeah, it's time to move on. You know, I don't want to live and die in the hood. I'd rather, you know, drop some breadcrumbs and show them how to get out the hood.
There we go.
Big facts.
I don't want to live in the hood. I don't want to live and die in the hood. I'd rather drop some breadcrumbs and show them how to get out the hood.
You know, cause Negroes, right? Niggers, ninjas, niggas think that opening up the spot and standing up politicking, you know, is the right thing to do, where we supposed to be honoring somebody that we say we honor. So instead of doing something different and actually turn this spot into a resource for the community, for ourselves, we gonna stand up here and keep doing the same old thing that put, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Man, that was, yo, shout out to the brother, man. That was good. I like that.
Shout out to Cowboy. Link will be in the description if y'all want to watch that whole clip. And shout out to damn, I can't even think of their name, but they link gonna be there though, because we don't never use nobody's stuff and don't give them the credit, so y'all can go and watch the whole thing in its entirety. But shout out to Cowboy and the YouTube channel that came up with that. It's crazy. It's crazy how, you know, how people just want to stay, how this hood mentality is just like, so, it's crazy.
It's almost like they want to get shot too, so they can be like, yeah, see, I'm just like Nip.
Yeah, like everybody want to be tough. Everybody want to have this tough thing. Like, I get it. When we grew up, it was about being tough, you know, but it wasn't in a, like, because if you fought, then you fought. It wasn't like the people who was tough wasn't scared to get beat up.
Correct.
You know, like they wasn't scared to lose a fight. You fight, you know, okay, that's what it is. But now it's so much cowardness with it, to throw the rocks and hide your hand. Everybody want to try to be slick tough. And we seeing that like go into so many other areas. Like, okay, like you want to be slick tough with me, but won't you be slick tough with your finances?
Yeah.
You know, like you can find a way to say, oh, I ain't nothing, I ain't ish. You can find a way to belittle me, but you can't find a way to big yourself up to be better in your area of life and something that's going to improve you. Like, that's what we seeing now. We seeing people doing that now more. You know, they project negative on everybody else. All right. Or matter of fact, they play victim to what somebody has tried to introduce to them to be better versions of themselves. But then they still ain't doing no better for themselves. That's it. To me, that's interesting though. I'm like, so what's that about? Or is it that I'm gonna do better for myself? I don't even think people doing better for themselves. I don't even think people even care to doing better for themselves, especially not if they putting themselves in the same situations over and over again. I don't call that better, unless you, and the only way that's a thing is if you got a recipe to bake a cake or something, or to make a meal. Then you expecting the same result every time you do the same thing. We're kind of looking for that, right? That's the exception to that rule. Doing the same thing, getting the same result. But then doing the same thing, getting a different result, though. Why would you expect to do the same thing, get a different result? When doing the same thing comes from having practice, so you're trying to practice to make perfect to get the same result every single time. I don't know. Maybe that's not common sense.
It is now day 25 of the shutdown at the Homeland Security Department, which is causing major disruptions at airports across the country. Today was slightly less of a headache for travelers. More than 2,000 U.S. flights were delayed, according to flight tracking site FlightAware. On Saturday, that number was nearly 10,000. Democrats are demanding reforms to the department's immigration enforcement policies and have offered to fund all non-immigration related agencies. But Republicans in the White House say the entire standoff just needs to end.
It is true that we are still far apart on the question of ICE. It is also true that there is no reason at all to hold TSA or the Coast Guard or FEMA hostage.
Call your Democrat member of Congress and tell them to fund the Department of Homeland Security. That's what President Trump wants to do, and it's completely ridiculous that the American people are suffering.
Let's bring in CBS News Homeland Security correspondent Nicole Skangas. You have some new reporting on how the shutdown has affected airports. What are you learning?
Yeah, Lindsay, unscheduled absences among TSA officers have more than doubled nationwide since the beginning of this shutdown, according to exclusive data obtained by CBS News from TSA officials, with absences climbing in major hubs like New York, Houston, and Atlanta. Now, these internal TSA statistics show the nationwide call-out rate. Unscheduled absences by frontline officers has climbed to an average of more than 6% during the shutdown, compared with roughly 2% before DHS funding lapsed. And absences peaked at nearly 9% nationwide on February 23rd. At some airports, the staffing shortages have been even more severe. For instance, at Houston's Hobby Airport, 53% of officers called out on March 8th, leaving more than half of the scheduled workforce absent. And across the shutdown, several major airports have averaged double-digit absence rates. JFK in New York, Atlanta, New Orleans, and Pittsburgh. The agency is also tracking operational hotspots, incidents where TSA officials say staffing shortages actually threaten security checkpoint operations.
That's crazy.
That's scary.
That's crazy. What you think about that, guy?
You know, I think that because they call it a partial shutdown, nobody cares. So I think two things. One, because they call it a partial shutdown, nobody cares. And secondly, nobody cares about the government shutting down other than the people affected by the government shutdown.
So like if a person work at Walmart, they don't really care about the government being shut down.
Yo, nobody that booked flights cared that the government was shut down. Nobody nobody taking consideration that those TSA workers are at work and not getting paid. So as customers, when they come through, they only want to go through checkout or they want to go through check-in, go through security, get to their flight, jump on a plane, and get to where they got to get to. They don't give a damn about you at work and not getting paid. Like, they ain't got nothing to do with them.
Right.
They paid their ticket. They paid their money for their ticket, and they showed up. You just so happen to be here. Handle my bag. So whatever.
Get my bags and shit. Throw that shit in. That's not TSA. That's what you call it. That's the
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, that's like nobody cares, right? Like, people are so disconnected. You know, most people think when they hear the government is shut down, I think they be thinking about Congress and they think Trump is affected. I think they be thinking that the actual government is impacted in, you know, more than what it really is.
That Trump ain't getting paid. That Trump ain't getting paid.
You know what I'm saying? And so I just don't think people care, man. And because otherwise it would be less people booking flights, and they would take in consideration that, you know what, there's probably gonna be people that's working that's not getting paid. They might be tired. They got bills. They might be a little annoyed. They might be frustrated. You know, my safety might be in jeopardy if people are at work and not getting paid, like they said, to the point where security was in jeopardy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they said they had a 50% reduction and sometimes half
You know,
staff, running at half staff. That's crazy.
and if we are in a warlike conflict where a whole other countries or countries, I don't know, you know how you just touch it.
What you're saying is they used the airplanes one time before, and now we at a conflict where the people who supposed to protect the planes ain't even there, but we had like it did.
And
That's a tough one.
and you know, and I know that they used the planes one time before. There will not be a second time.
I'm thinking that too. Like I'm thinking,
I'm knowing that joint gonna get shot down.
Yeah, I mean, well, I know if they make it on the plane.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
if
Like,
they make it on the plane.
and in a situation like this where there's 50% less people or whatever,
Yeah.
there's greater opportunities for things to happen, and great opportunities for it to get shot down. And I don't want to. I would be thinking of. I am thinking about those kind of things. You know, which is why I drive.
Yeah, I just don't want to be on that plane.
I don't want to be on the plane.
Because
Like,
I can promise you something. I can promise you something. If I'm on the plane, I'm gonna die to make sure that whoever's with me on the plane lands. Okay. So we're not going to crash because of a knife. We just not gonna crash because of a knife. I'm sorry. Like, you got to bring more to a knife fight. And even with me being in the condition I'm in, you're gonna have to bring more than a knife to the fight. Okay. So we're not going down for that. But that
you got to be with scissor hands out this bitch.
But with that, because he can still get caught. You know what I'm saying? And if we go at the same time, like, he ain't got that much reaction time, right? It's impossible. Be willing to be the first person to get cut. You know what I'm saying? Like that too.
Oh yeah.
But that caveat that you said that the plane is coming down, see, that's where we need to quickly, so the radio would know, call them off. Call them off.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we got them, boss.
We got them.
We got them. Like, yo, turn off the transponder. Turn off the transponder. Like, turn that joint off.
We do not need to be collateral for these, these fakers, man.
Facts. Because that's the scenario that we in. That's what I'm saying. Like, because that did happen already, and
like we don't. I'd rather be honored by 12 than carried by 6 for some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, take me to DC or let me. Hey, you just saved the plane from a terrorist attack. We going to Disneyland. Oh yeah,
you going to Disney? Fucking right. Freaking right. Flipping right. Yeah.
Like, we cool with that, but nah, not y'all just said. We had to. With the commandant, he said, I had a feeling, I felt that we was talking about this tonight. It was I don't know whether that was prudence. Was that prudence or was that logical? He said, was that commonsensical? He said, I had a feeling that the talks weren't gonna end well, so I just went ahead and bombed on them. No intelligence, nothing that they was moving or doing anything. I had a feeling that they were going to do it to us if we didn't do it to them. So we went ahead and did it to them first. That's what he said.
Yeah, and you know why that's okay? Because the majority of people are operating off their feelings. So he's relatable because he's operating off his feelings.
That's crazy. And when you operate off logic, people people don't like that because they just want to go with their irrational emotions.
Because I'm human and I am having this experience, and how dare you try to erase my humanity and my experience and my feelings. I what she say? I am woman, hear me roar.
Well, you know, to that too, you know, to that too.
Which is the only
People say you can't tell me how to feel, right?
correct.
You know, people do say you can't tell me how to feel. So I'm just like, where we at with it? We have to accept all of it. We have to accept the Iron Woman, hear me roar. We have to accept the UK, tell me how to feel. We have to accept the, well, these are my feelings and I'm
These
having
are
this
my feelings, and
experience and blah, blah, blah. Right? We got to accept all of that. Right. But then, why, when you have those, oh, you logical, prudent people, you know, y'all icky. The logical, prudent people is icky though, right?
because
To that group,
yeah, because
we not looking at them as they icky. We looking at them like, like
they're emotional.
let's meet halfway. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
nah,
let's solve some
because
problems.
the reason for that is because they're thinking with their emotions. So logical and rational and reasonable would be icky because those people aren't feeling, they're thinking.
Ooh, because those people aren't feeling, they are thinking.
And I feel judged when you're thinking about my feelings.
Mm. I mean, and that's fair. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. I mean, tell that shit to the judge. Judge, I feel like you being unfair. Well, I feel like you tripping because you committed that crime and don't think that your ass ain't supposed to be in here getting locked the fuck up. Locked up, We trying not to cuss y'all, but I'm just saying, like, so like who's the fool in that situation? You know? Am I the fool because I allowed myself? Like, where's the common sense? Logically, should I hold myself accountable? Because damn, I didn't have to do whatever I did to get myself in the situation. I ain't think about that. Or now should I be thinking about they supposed to be having all this pity on me and they supposed to be having this consideration and this, that, and the third? Like, or
Yo,
they're unfair because they're not, because they don't understand how I'm feeling
yo.
about my mistake that I chose to make.
They don't know God is not through with me yet.
Okay. Oh God. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't blame it on God. you know.
Yeah, no, I got like it's literally that though. Like it's the maturity level of the feelers versus the thinkers, right? And like the feelers unfortunately do be thinking that they think, right?
The feelers unfortunately do be thinking that they think us.
And because they can articulate their feelings,
They think they saying something.
they think they saying something, right?
Because
And so
I feel,
because they can articulate this, they feel like they're being logical because they can articulate their feelings, right? And really they need to actually take some time and process why they are feeling, why they let this person let them feel this way, why do they feel so bad and so poorly about themselves that this person can take their power or have so much power over them, right? Or like it's consideration, right? And it's just lack thereof. That's why
yeah.
that's why I said earlier, right? Lazy communication is this. So why do so many people say this stuff? It's just lazy communications.
It's definitely some lazy communication, for real, to say the least. But the feelings are all over the place for this next story. Let's go ahead and jump into it real quick.
10 TV is following breaking news tonight as we have learned the names of the 3 Ohio airmen who were among the 6 killed in Iraq while on a refueling aircraft. Tonight, the Ohio National Guard confirmed the deaths of Captain Seth Koval, Captain Curtis Angst, and Tech Sergeant Tyler Simmons. These 3 servicemen were aboard the KC-135 Stratotanker that crashed in western Iraq Thursday. U.S. Central Command says there was an incident involving 2 aircraft in friendly airspace.
Man, we want to just pay our condolences to these 3 fellow service members and to their families, and send some love and prayers. And this is what happens when this is a possibility of what can happen when you sign up to serve your country. So just want to have a little quick moment of silence for them. We didn't go into it, y'all. We're going to put the link in there because this video gives some in-depth things from the family and a really good interview, especially for the brother at the end, the airman. His mom was speaking, and she was just speaking highly of him and how enthused he was. It made me feel like my mom, or some of the men that I have served with, if their parents would have been talking about them. So definitely a little moment of silence. Yep, and prayers and peace to them guys. And what's your take on that, guy? Real quick, what's your take on this whole war thing? Like, we haven't seen a lot of casualties, but it seems as though they're just like, the casualties are beginning to happen, at least on the U.S. front. Like they don't have the cameras on the ground, and we're not getting broadcasts Israel, and we getting air visuals. And then of course we heard about the school in Iran, but we're not getting firsthand. Like, we're not seeing bodies draped over cars and like real life GTA, which American culture is already desensitized to. So it isn't like if there was just cameras filming this, almost like Judgment Day or The Purge or any of these gory movies that just involve a whole bunch of killing. Like, people will be watching it. People will be tuned in. I'm sure it'd be the most streamed thing. Like people will probably tune out of that other stuff that they've been watching if it was live bombings, But it's crazy that's something that could be of reality.
God. So where I work at, so I can't talk about it too much. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. That's enough said. Yep. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into this last topic right here with Hall of Fame Tommy Hitman Hearns.
Middle of a guardianship court battle. Recently, there has been a lot of conflicting information out there about Tommy Hearns.
And 7 investigator Heather Catallo is here to set the record straight after talking to Hearns about what's been happening. Heather.
There's been a lot happening with the family recently. Different sides of his family have claimed Tommy Hearns was being held from them, and Adult Protective Services officials say they've been looking into whether he's been the victim of financial exploitation. Now, this week, the boxing legend and some of his children sat down with me to set the record straight about his health and all the controversy.
I want to know that I'm doing fine. I feel good.
Thomas the Hitman Hearns wants the community to know he's safe.
Thomas the Hitman Hearns.
In recent weeks, some family members have claimed the champion boxer was being kept from them amid accusations of financial exploitation and even allegations by Adult Protective Services that some relatives had kidnapped the Hall of Famer.
I just want things just be calm and good and just move smoothly.
Mr. Hearns is revered in this community for all he's done, for all he's given back to the community, to the city of Detroit, to the boxing world.
Attorney Wolf Mueller represents Hearns' oldest son, Ronald.
So my job with the conservator and the court is to make sure that nobody takes advantage of him and he is treated with dignity and respect that he so richly deserves.
Are you concerned that somebody or some people have been taking advantage of him?
I think there is a lot of evidence that he's been taken advantage of recently.
My dad's a great man, has a big heart, and for him to be going through this type of situation this time in his life is terrible.
I am ordering you to tell me where Thomas Hearns is.
Okay.
So, tell me where he is.
He said okay.
And that's why I would like to receive legal counsel.
What? What?
He said, I'm ordering you to tell me where your daddy is.
Okay.
And she says, well, that's where I would like to receive legal counsel. That's why I want to get an attorney. That's why I want to get a lawyer. I don't care what you're saying, Judge. I'm not gonna tell you where my daddy at. This is a judge. His daughter kidnapped. It's like his daughter kidnapped. It's like some, I don't know. That's what it sounds like. They not trying to tell the judge either where he at. So this is crazy. But I wanted to show this, but we'll play the whole thing.
To explain the situation.
At an emergency guardianship hearing in February, only our cameras were there as Oakland County Chief Probate Judge Pro Tem Daniel O'Brien took testimony from APS workers who were searching for Hearns after they said his daughter and his sister would not reveal the 67-year-old's location. APS officials also said they were suspicious after a GoFundMe online fundraiser was set up.
Your impression is they were using Mr. Hearns as some kind of commercial advertiser?
Correct. By Wednesday morning, all sides of the family agreed to allow Ronald Hearns to be in charge of his father's care and finances. Citing a dementia diagnosis, Judge O'Brien appointed Ronald Hearns as guardian and conservator of Thomas Hearns.
Everybody loves Mr. Hearns and wants the best for him. And so that's what everybody should be working for, and not focusing on their past grievances.
So just keep praying for my dad and the family as we move forward in our lives.
And that's what we're going to do, family. What you got on that, guy?
Yeah, no, I agree with the judge, right? Like, the focus should be on the elder and making sure that he's healthy and happy and not being taken advantage of. And we should all grow up and not be focused on the past, because right now is all we have. The past happened already. Today, right now is all we have, right? Tomorrow is not promised. We only have right now.
For sure. But that's crazy how when you get a little paper, man, people got to get their stuff in order. That this should be an example. That's one of our Black athletes, old school. And we seeing how even the money in that environment, where there was some lack of something that happened.
Yeah.
To where now, you see siblings, family members trying to manipulate situations, so they can have access to money that they ain't work to get.
What's sad about that guy is he's not just a Black athlete. Like he's a part of American culture, right? Like his athleticism and his accomplishments and his achievements and his era, like all the people that he competed with in his era are part of American culture that changed the face of boxing, that makes America, gives America part of its swag. is people like, you know, Hitman Tommy Hearns and all of the great elders. So it's not just a black
Sugar
thing.
Ray.
It's what I'm saying, right? Like it's not just a black thing, it's a real an American hero kind of thing. Like think about the whole Jack Johnson and looking for the great white hype or the great white hope to take him out. Because essentially he was the face of America. He was America's strength. Like
Yeah, but that's Jack Johnson. We're not gonna compare Tommy Hitman Hearns to
no,
that.
no, no,
Though.
no. I'm just talking about it.
He was boxing when cocaine was cheaper. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was in the 80s, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so I mean, it's not Jack Johnson though. Jack Johnson had the back of the bus, the back of the trailer, the you know, like you
all
can't
that,
even
all
go
that,
in.
all that.
I mean, I don't even think the back of something was established when Jack Johnson was boxing. It was just like you want to film knockers. You know what I'm saying?
Why you bullshitting? You right, because they created the Bad Act. What?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
So
like,
yeah.
You know, Tommy Hearns and then was boom, 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 sniff, sniff, sniff. Not saying that that's what he was doing as an athlete, but you know, I'm just saying like that generation, they were smooth. They had leather vests on and pants and fur coats and you know, all that type of going on. They was when like you know, it was real smooth. It was real cool, you know, to be a black entertainer, and they were coming up when they were just getting money. You know, I think he was in that era where it was like they was just getting money. Money was just starting to really be pouring in real huge. Like
I want to say that's like right after the black exploitation era, with the black films and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, he had a lot of good people in that era of fighting, Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard and people like himself and other good fighters, great fighters. But like Lil Bro said, we just gonna pray for your family. But for sure.
You've just been Flavor Bomb, and now back to our show.
Yeah, y'all. So make sure to smash that like button. We've been smoking on common sense this evening, and we are at our fifth and final question. Is the phrase common sense bad, good, or misunderstood? The guy Ali Dawood at BK Soul Farm.
Misunderstood. And separate from the definition, I would say bad. Because the definition doesn't take into account or consideration all of our complexities. It from my interpretation, it assumes that we're all coming from the same worldview.
We all knowledgeable. Yeah.
Like yeah. we are all knowledgeable, and we all coming from the same worldview, and we all had the same grandmother, and you know what I'm saying, like, and that's not real, you know, and the more real statement becomes, you know, common sense just ain't that common, because it ain't. Right. Like there really was a whole TV show, Are You Smarter Than the Fifth Grade? Because so many people are not.
Big facts. Like after they get to the fifth grade, what they gonna do? What you gonna do? Oh, they got AI for that now. So.
They got AI for that now. You know what I mean? Like, and they're encouraging it.
Are you gonna learn, or are you just gonna say just use AI? What's the answer?
Are you gonna learn, or are you gonna just use?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going with misunderstood, borderline bad.
Misunderstood, borderline bad. Okay. Well, I'm definitely gonna rock out with misunderstood. And I'm gonna go with good.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with good. Yeah, but I don't think it's bad. I do agree with the reason why you said it's bad though. But but there's one of them things where it's like it should be encouraging to do that, which the reason why you say it's bad, to like get on my level, get on your level. And the reason why I say that is because us logical, what's the other word? Logical and prudent people, all right, we realize in order to do things with the feelers that we have to find a way to be on their level.
We gotta think about that
shit. You know what I'm saying? You got, because it's more of them than it is us. So even when we're presenting things, we have to understand how people gonna feel about it. Like we have to be careful in our presentation of things, and in our how we say stuff, right? Because when we talking to a feeler, right? Because we already know that they're not listening. They're skipping logic. They're skipping prudence.
Not hearing you at all.
At all. They're only trying to see what resonates with their feelings for them to acknowledge, So we have to do that. So I say that it's good because the thing is they're lazy and they don't want to do that.
Correct.
Because they enjoy being in the misery of their feelings, or let me not say that, or the comfort. Let me not just leave it at misery, the misery or the comfort, because that's my bias in the misery of it. But all the comfort of their feeling. So, I think it would be good if even in their feelings, they acknowledge the common sense. Because then that would allow them to get out of their feelings quicker and get to resolve faster, get to solutions faster, and not get hung up on their feelings. It's not saying that they have to become all of a sudden flip a switch and become a logical, prudent person. You can still, but not having a healthy balance is a diet recipe for disaster in anything.
Self-destruction. You headed for self-destruction.
Absolutely. So
that's how that go.
So definitely. So the guy Ali Dawudel at BK Soul Farm got common sense as misunderstood and bad. Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, we going with misunderstood and good. And that's how we do it. It's always understood. It's always understood.
We didn't agree to disagree. We actually understand. Well,
we right. We understand what your position is. Understand what my position is. We understand what our position is.
You understand what our position?
And see how to, but that's too logical and
yeah, right.
Hold on, let me add some feelings in it. You wrong. You wrong. You wrong. You wrong. You wrong. And because because you don't agree with me, that make you a bad person too. You know what I'm saying? And you a bad person. Right? So
that's kind of how it be going, ain't it?
I'm just saying, like, it's crazy that's what that's what becomes the conclusion. But yeah, as we move to concluding tonight's show, y'all, we had common sense, and we answered our first question: what do you think of when you hear the words common sense? 2, is common sense learned, or are we born with it, and why? 3, why do you think people say use your common sense when a mistake is made? 4, have you ever experienced common sense help or harm you, and how? And 5th and final, last but never least, is the phrase common sense bad, good, or misunderstood? Let us know in the comment section below. We will always respond to all of your comments. Like we always say, We are not the gurus. If you like something, pick it up, have a smoke. If you don't, leave it in the ashtray for the next person to come by. We want everybody to make sure you have a peaceful, positive, and productive start to your week. All right. And we appreciate y'all for pulling up each and every time, Sunday right here, 8 p.m. East Coast, Cigar Sundays Live, Chef Pearl at DBCHEFTV, and the God, Ali Dawood at BK Soul Farm. Make sure y'all smash that like button. We appreciate it. It's the freest thing you can do to help get this type of content in front of beautiful people like you. And that is all we have. Until next time. Links in the description, y'all. Peace, God.
This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So bksoulfarm.com, 1016, 160 self-sustainability. Jump on the list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
Love ain't always easy, and we won't stop until we get it right. So bring that ass to the Love Speak podcast. Subscribe today and let your love speak at TLS Podcast. The Love Speak, now streaming on YouTube. If it's Friday night and you don't have a date, then brunch with the fellas is your spot, so don't be late. We go up at 9 p.m. with the trending topic news. Smash the like, comment, subscribe, and share the content. Don't be rude. At Brunch Fellas, now streaming on YouTube. You are the key to your financial freedom, so unlock your inner wealth with financial fundamentals at Bows on the Table. Subscribe today and never miss a meal at Bows Podcast. Bows on the Table, now streaming on YouTube. At the Veteran Kettle Podcast, we thank you for your service, support, and sacrifice to our country. Listen to real stories of adversity and triumph as we give our best to honor our vets. Subscribe today and watch episodes now streaming on YouTube at TVK Podcast, The Veteran Kettle. Sign up for the newsletter and shop merch and clothing at DBCHEFTV.com.